Hello to the two. Can you hear me? I think I've got the mic working. Unlike the shit show of last night. Oh my goodness, or 2 nights ago, whenever it was. So if you could have the good grace to let me know if you could hear me, because otherwise I can't start. It'd be very much appreciated. I think I have a microphone working. Hopefully it won't quite be the shit show of the other night. Much better sound quality. Dean was here for the shit show. The absolute shit show, both in terms of technology and my anger. Sorry, I got a bit excited at you, Dean. So I'm just going to try a much more chilled affair tonight. I'm not going to try and entertain or prove or anything. I'm not going to get triggered. So it's probably going to be really boring. This is just me proving to myself or seeing if I can live stream while smoking, not literally while smoking, but whilst it's in my life. And, well, just trying to get my confidence back, to be honest. I've had a bit of a confidence knock. The last live stream was horrendous. And then also my videos don't seem to be doing very well. So I've gone into like, oh, am I about to fail as a YouTuber story? So I just need to very calmly see if I can still live stream. Because I told myself I can't live stream. So I thought, well, live stream and see. Yeah, there's something about when green is in my life, it brings a lot of calmness and stillness, but it takes away all the confidence, bravado, and potential arrogance. Hello to my valued member, RPM Nitro. How you doing, mate? Okay, so we've got 22. That's, well, there's nothing to start with. But what I could talk about is the moose in my house. What would you do if you had a moose in your house? So, in the shit show live stream, I know Dean was there. I can hear it chewing now. It's chewing the sofa. Okay, well, that answers the question, doesn't it? Good day, plebs. Get a cat. You know what? That could be a really good solution. As one to the mouse, that's a really good idea, actually. But two, to my desire for a pet, but my fear of letting said pet down, because, I mean, this is obviously going to piss off all cat people, but I don't think cats give a shit. So if I was to get a cat and then not end up being able to commit to it for whatever it is, 10, 20, 15, 20 years, would it give a shit? I don't think it would. Whereas a dog, you just can't do that, can you? You can't take a dog for a year and then, fuck off to China. I was thinking maybe I should get because I'm looking at long-term houses now, and it's like, well, once you sign a long-term contract, obviously I'm going to want to get a dog. But then if I get a dog, that rules out places like Taiwan, Japan, because I don't want to go there long-term, but like to go there for a month or two, basically for content. And to experience it. I'm not going to go to India for content, but I would go to Japan for content, But then it's like, well, once you've got a dog, that's kind of out the window. So maybe I need to do all that shit fairly soon. Tick them off. How bad's that when you're looking at countries as just ticking them off? Fuck me. Talk about privileged. All right. Yeah. Probably for the best team. I went on a right defensive rant. I think I was defensive over the fact that I was smoking again. So the question was, before William came in and suggested a cat, which is a great idea, because I like a cat. So I was actually, I was probably a bit mental, and I was like, oh, maybe I should feed the mouse. But I've realized now that I don't want to live with a mouse. It's quite cute. It's really cute. It's definitely not a rat. It's definitely a mouse. It's really cute, like what mouse is about. But if I don't get rid of it, it's going to end up with a family of mice, isn't it? And I don't want them eating my food. But I also don't want to do, I remember when I had the house in Thailand, my staff member, just dealt with some mice without even really involving me. And the next thing I knew, they were all stuck to paper. Like, he put that sticky paper down, and like, you'd come down in the morning and they're stuck on it, terrified. It was fucking awful. And then my dogs would bite them, and oh my God, these poor mice. It's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance. But I think a cat is probably the best because it's natural-ish. I mean, what are cats? Are they? This whole Egypt thing is quite interesting, isn't it? Whenever you play Egyptian music, cats are like. I remember they've got all the sphinxes in Egypt, and it's like, what was going on in Egypt? What role did cats play? Were cats for gods? Oh, sorry to hear about William. That must be rather distressing for you. But I think you've just got to be like, yeah, it's a cat, man. Not a dog. It's it's not loyal. It's a cunt. No, I mean that in a lovely way. Like, I mean that in a fantastic way. Like, that's why I like them so much. And it'll be fine. It's just doing what it wants to do, isn't it? It's like, you've got to take yourself out of the equation when it comes to cats, I think, and just accept that it's your master and you're just its feeding bitch. Yeah, good, intense. So I started smoke. Like, it's great. But so how is hanging out with Lee going? I basically avoided him for 3 days since I started smoking. I just can't. It's one or the other, It's either I'm in or I'm out. And if I'm smoking, I'm out. If I'm sober, I'm in. So when I'm sober, I'm spending loads of time with him. And it's great. I noticed my first projection onto him come up the other day. My first potential truth, potential projection. But yeah, he's amazing. But when I'm smoking, man, I just can't be doing with it. I'm basically in resistance, so my anger's come up. A new layer of anger has come up, which Patreon members have seen with this landlord. But that happened with 3 different people in 3 days. And I haven't experienced external anger for a long time. Not consistently, certainly. And suddenly I'm just in anger. And I'm not. It doesn't feel like a problem. It feels okay. Yeah, so when I smoked, I just snapped at 3 people, and I could feel like my energy was like, and like I was coping through content creation. It was not like I stopped smoking and suddenly started meditating and be with myself. No, I was coping through intense content creation. So it's good, it's positive, but it's still coping. And it's still, it just got too intense. And I started getting angry with people consistently. So I had 2 choices. I could have either like really been with it, breathed into it, felt it all, met it, processed it basically, or I could have got stoned. So what did I do? I got stoned. So that's been 3 days now. So I basically haven't spoken to Lee for 3 days. I mean, it got to a point where I had to just run out of his house. Because Lee doesn't stop, Lee loves it. And so the projection is, and I think it is a projection, is that he's needy, that he needs people around him all the time. But I think this is just me trying to find flaws in him so I don't have to, accept that I need to listen to everything he says. I mean, he's got people around constantly. And then what I noticed is like he wouldn't let me leave the house. Like how a spaz-tard is like socially unaware. Well, obviously that's not the case with Lee. He's just like passionate about what he's doing, but and I think he likes to. Well, I don't know. There's no point in me putting my story onto him. But like when you're trying to walk away from someone who's socially unaware, someone who's socially unaware, and they keep talking, and you're walking away. Well, Lee, like that happened with Lee, and it got to a point where I had to say, right, Lee, stop, I'm leaving. So that's the projection I'm working with, so I can dismiss him right now. But no, it's not. It's bullshit. I'm totally acknowledging, but I just can't deal with him when I'm smoking. I started looking at houses yesterday as well because, again, it's the smoking thing. Like, I don't even want to walk past his flat when I'm smoking. I don't want to. And then he's got all his wise fucking friends. Like, you know, it's just like, when I'm smoking, I'm very much like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to walk past this enlightened group of people every time who are like, do you want to join us and be challenged severely, but from love? No, fuck off. So that's how it's going, Dean. Are you? Are you? You're not the Dean, are you? You're not friends with Michael. Michael talks a lot about a Dean, and I'm pretty sure I've seen you. I'm pretty sure you commented on Lee's video the other day. So I'm wondering if you're the Dean, that is Michael's very good friend. You're all going to meet Michael in 2 episodes' time. He's absolutely fantastic, Yorkshireman, amazing, like amazing. Now I find him. Well, yeah, I suppose the suggestion would be that Lee is more enlightened than Michael, but you know, Michael's severely enlightened, and to me, it doesn't really make much difference, you know, because you know I'm here, and whether it's Michael, Lee, it doesn't make any difference to me because once you go above, you know, it's all, you know, they're so far ahead, but it doesn't really matter. Now I find Michael more accessible. I find Michael speaks, you know, my language. I mean, I just love them both. I just love them both. And I'm so grateful that they're coming to my life. But yeah, it's hard. Like the smoking makes one really self-conscious, which obviously has its benefits for self-observation, especially for someone who's first starting this out. But it stops me feeling like I deserve to be around these men. Deserve is a bit strong, but something like that. I'm not sure how that's relevant to what we're talking about. You're Roy, aren't you? Of course you're Roy. Thanks, mate. Oh my God. Oh dear, Roy. Oh dear. I believe pets are just a money grab, and the cost of looking after them is insane. Well, that's just ridiculous. Like pets are. if you haven't felt that, then wow. Here you are, Rachel. Oh, Rachel's about to do something amazing. We won't talk about it until the deed is done, but let's just say Rachel is having a breakthrough. Greetings from Germany. That's good news. I'm trying to expand my non-UK base, although I think Germany's going to be just as bad. But I'm trying to expand my viewership from outside UK. So it's actually got a lot better. So it used to be like 90% UK. Now it's 67% UK. So it is spreading. Because I don't know what's about to happen in the UK with YouTube. It's not looking good, is it? I mean, yeah, it's not looking good at all. I'm sure you've all seen the stuff that's coming up on YouTube. Yeah, so Jeff Buys Cars did quite a boring but very good video on it because he just goes through every single question. So, you know, the government have done this, I forget what you call them, but let's just call it a questionnaire. It's vile, like it's vile. The way it's worded, you know, oh my God, it's so 1984 and it's so like asking you questions but not giving you an option. And double speak and like questions that barely even make sense. It's unbelievable. And yeah, you can just see exactly where it's leading. So it's not just, you know, people are like, oh, well, you just cancel the BBC and ITV. No, this is just step one. And obviously it's not step one. There's already been 25 million steps, but this is, you know, the next step in, you know, basically just not letting you watch anything like China. And I think Germany is very much on the same road, isn't it? So I think this is a German dude. If you look at our evolution, doesn't exist. The universe is systematically rigged. The biological stakes are completely lopsided. The reward of pleasure, like eating a good meal or experiencing romantic ecstasy. I'm not quite sure. I mean, you lose me with the word evolution straight away because that's obviously not true. But I appreciate, you could be using it without thinking that we ascended from monkeys in Africa. Lol. The universe is systematically rigged. The biological states are completely lopsided. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think you're saying something along like we get off much more on stuff that doesn't serve us potentially, but yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, you're talking about evolution, man. Like, what's the point? It's a lie. Okay, so you're not the Dean, but I have commented on these videos since he was done AI rock music. Cool, so you're obviously a cool dude if you're watching these videos. That takes a certain caliber of person for sure. And so it just happens to be a Dean in this circle that I haven't met yet, who apparently is Michael's best friend. You'll hear about Dean in Michael's video, which I think is 2 or 3 videos away. So, Roy, I really like you and I appreciate your support and everything, but I don't think you're here to teach anyone. You're still desperate and seeking externally. So to me, your opinion is null and void, to be honest. And you've kind of proved that in your comments. So yeah, I'm not going to be reading any advice you have for people, because it seems to me that you've just feared out and gone for the easy option, which isn't even really an option. Well, it is an option. By which I mean Jesus, of course, or any external religion, any belief, any desperate hope and cope. Just not interested in it. But thanks for 50. All right, I've got to the bottom of the chat. No one's donated, but it feels like I can do this. I wonder if I don't think coming on live like literally after a smoke would be a good idea, but I wonder if there is some balance to it. If there's less try hard, maybe. I've got the story that I'm less entertaining, yada yada yada, which I'm sure is true. I can feel a slight anxiety now. I can feel, there's no donations. I've got to the end of the chat. I don't know what to say. But I feel all right with it. Whereas I feel like if I was sober, I'd be filling, which maybe is better. And I suppose as a live streamer, it is better if you can actually, speak. But there's just less attachment to it. But then there's also a part of me that's like, okay, it's time to end the stream. It's time to end the stream. Nothing's happening. No one's donating. It's not flowing. But I don't feel anxious with it. I can feel a slight tightness here, I think. So I'm just going to sit and wait for a few more comments. Right, so I have sorted out the microphone. I actually know, as in like, before, if a microphone came on or not was just random and there was nothing I could do about it. Well, that was my story. So I'm a huge technophobe and I get very stressed very easily when it comes to technology, and I very fast, like ridiculously fast, go into the I can't do it story. So that's what's been happening. So when I connected my microphone today, it didn't work. Didn't like, as in StreamYard didn't acknowledge it. So I asked AI and it said, you just need to repair your microphone to your thing that you stick into the laptop. So I just pressed 2 buttons and there we go. So now I know how to do it. So I don't think we should have any issues with sound again. I have been looking at Shure, S-H, why did I say that like a Vietnamese? Shure, I don't know how to say it, but it's S-H-U-R-E, like the best under $500 microphones, I think. And it would come on one of these stick things, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm a professional YouTuber, man. Like, let's all pretend that I can actually do this. Send me some money. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but it's S-H-U-R-E, like the best under $500 microphones, I think. And it would come on one of these stick things, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm a professional YouTuber, man. Like, let's all pretend that I can actually do this. Send me some money. So I am looking into that. You know, I'm willing to go with full. You know, I'm willing to fully honor myself and give myself the best chance because I think I can do this. I don't feel like I can do it in this moment, but I think in general I can do this, particularly if I'm sober. So yeah, I want the best technology. I've just bought. Oh my god, guys! I've got something really cool to show you. Bearing in mind we are now on the Osmo 3. Osmo 4. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I've had it 24 hours. Not even that. I've had it in 6 hours. It'll be 24 hours. I've had it. So that means I've had it 18 hours. Oh my god, it's so sexy. And because my Osmo 3 has been on the blink for about 3 months, like it's been switching off, it's been twisting around when I don't want it to. It just feels even more amazing. I'm so glad I dropped the Osmo 3. But it was $600, which was fine. But then I got home and I had a text message of an unexpected cost, which I'd love to tell you about, and hopefully one day I can tell you about. It's a fascinating story, but right now I can't tell you about it. An unexpected cost of another $700. And on the same day, I'm looking at houses, which require deposits and a month's rent up front. And suddenly I'm like, shit, man, I don't have any money. I better do some grifting, but no one's sending any money, so this isn't working either. And my videos have started doing shit. Oh, God, it's so much to cope with. I'm just going to have to get stoned and forget about it all. But that's not the answer, because then I won't make any money, because then I won't live stream. And that's where the real money is. Oh, fuck. This life. But at least the sound is good. Do you think... And yeah, I mean, really, if I'm taking this seriously, I need to buy the best, and this isn't the best. I need to buy one of those Shure, I think it's the Shure M7 Plus that's been recommended by AI to me, because AI just decides to live my life. So, Koenig is going to talk about pets. I have felt the love it can bring with pets. My mum has cats. I used to play with them. But I also look at the bigger picture and it's so practical. I mean, are you heavily autistic? So let me finish. I look at the cost of them and looking after them and the commitment. Well, yeah, of course. No. Yeah, you've got to have a balanced view. So for me, commitment is a big one because obviously my life is unstable. Not just because I'm mentally unstable, of course. I mean, it's literally unstable. Because of course you've got to factor all that in, but only a man that wasn't connected to his heart would come to the conclusion that it's not worth it. You know, you'd look at all factors and then you'd be like, yeah, of course I'm getting a dog. Now, if you work in an office and you're single, then you can't really have a dog unless you're willing to pay a dog walker, and that's a whole new level of costs. So of course, it's it is a practical decision on one level, but from my perspective, there's no decision. But then I'm not an office worker, and I never have been. So yeah, but for me, it was just living without a dog in my life just doesn't feel right. Like it's just so obvious that I'm meant to have a dog and a cat and loads of animals. Really, like for me, it's like how do I create a life where I can give my life to animals essentially, and maybe some people too, but. Like for me, that's the focus rather than just like, right, I have to work in an office and then I can't afford. So basically you're choosing repression, you're choosing depression, you're choosing being controlled. So it's not really a choice, is it? It depends what perspective you're coming from. And obviously you're coming from a very third dimensional perspective. So for you, yes, great. But for me, absolutely not. Okay, so maybe he's talking about souls evolving. It's a bit different. If our souls are evolving, shouldn't our goal to be outgrow the very laws of this biological tyranny rather than just trying to tolerate it? Yes and no. I think it starts out that way. So for me, my spiritual journey started through fear, which this is. understandably, no criticism, we all start off in fear. So trying to escape, not wanting to come back, escaping the wheel of samsara, you know, you could word it like this. But actually, you realize it's not about trying, it's about surrendering. And it's just about being and merging and allowing. And actually, then all these stories go away because you see how it all plays out, how it all serves each other. And so you're still in duality. And none of this will make sense to you. You might intellectually understand it a little bit. That's how it starts, and then it becomes embodied. I'm really seeing this now. There's literally no point. It's literally impossible for me to speak of what I'm experiencing, so touching upon oneness, to somebody who's in duality. Like, this is why that video that Lee did is so important about the dimensions, so you can start to intellectually understand it. So people have talked a long time about the new Earth. So there's going to be an old Earth. So, you know, the jib jabs, the BBC watchers, and then the spiritual people in a new Earth. And we'll live like side by side, but they won't be able to see this. And we might not even be able to see them. And obviously we won't want to see them. But it's much more than that. It's duality or oneness, you know, it's... So for me, it's become, and this is because I'm shifting, it's become very apparent when someone's in duality. And I don't know how to speak. Right now, I haven't worked out how to speak to someone in duality about this sort of thing because it's just beyond your perception. It's beyond your life experience right now, not further. Yeah, so it's this outgrow the very laws of this biological tyranny. So that's coming from the ego, you know, it's coming from trying to control, like outgrow. Rather, you know, you'll soon see that everything you're running away from is all part of the beauty and it's all one. I'm not, when I said soon see, it might not be soon, like this is a big journey. But you're on the journey. So no is the answer, but yes from your perspective. And all you can do is keep going with your perspective until you crack some more. So yeah, do it, go for it, keep going. And eventually you'll get to a point where you're no longer in fear of what you're calling the tyranny. And don't get me wrong, I'm not fully at that point, like I still notice it. But now I'm totally intellectually of the understanding that the dark is just serving the light and it's all one. So, you know, I wouldn't have, for example, if that demon hadn't have come into my life, I wouldn't have processed all the fear that I needed to process. And there's still more to go. Like, I'm not saying I'm finished, but you know, it was. So what I'm doing now, resisting smoking to Lee. I'm basically resisting Lee's teachings. Or it's not Lee's teachings, the truth that are currently being presented by Lee, a form that we call Lee. Yeah, when I called in the demon, so I asked for it energetically. You know, it was at a time when I couldn't smoke. I was in Bali, and it absolutely compelled me. It absolutely made me look at myself and feel myself more than ever. Like more than I would have allowed. Like the level of fear I had to feel, the level of surrender that had to come through that. Like I would never have done. This is why doing stuff like ayahuasca is so important, or calling in a fucking demon. Because they'll take you through, they'll force you through barriers that you would never go through, that you would always quit at, that you would always have a smoke at, or whatever yours is, a wank or whatever. Ooh, a new one. Hello, Suspiria? Am I saying that right? Suspiria. Of course I'm not saying that right. I don't say anything right. I was editing a video and like, oh God, I'm really bad. Like I can't speak. And this is just English. Good question, though. I really appreciate this. Please don't take anything. I hope you know that it's hard, you know, it's very hard to help people and give people the truth without, you know, telling them they're wrong, essentially. But I hope you realize that there's no judgment in anything I say, certainly to a question like this and a person like this. You know, I really am just, it's not even trying to help you. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but it's just like telling you the truth from my perspective that I've experienced. You know, it might not be the truth, but it feels true to me. So that's all I can tell you. But keep the questions like that coming, man. Absolutely brilliant. Like, brilliant. Like, that's exactly what I want the stream to be. Have you had a fly in your eye yet on the scooter, lol, or had to do an emergency stop? You ride well, Bill. Yeah, absolutely. So when you see me riding, obviously I'm filming, so that's not me riding well. Like, I ride much better when I'm not filming. But I feel I'm quite good at riding the scooter for someone who's ridden it for 2 years, for a Westerner that's ridden it for 2 years. But then, I worry about that because that's when I have accidents, when I start thinking that I'm the king of the road. So, I'm at the point, like in Vietnam, bearing in mind Vietnam is meant to be the craziest place to drive in the world, along maybe with India, I don't know. I feel like I'm better than 95% of the people on the road. So you've got 50% to be honest, I think they're all NPCs. I'm starting to think that Asia is just NPC land, but I mean that really positively. Like, it's why they're so lovely, but I think it is just NPC land. But you've got 50% that are total NPCs and will just like never overtake or do anything. Then you've got 25% that like overtake and weave around, and then you've got 25%, or maybe a bit less. The Grab drivers, basically. So me and the Grab drivers who are like kamikaze. I'm exaggerating, but like just fucking in and out, pavement. Well, if I'm not smoking, I'm in that category. And I worry if it's an ego thing, if it's because I can definitely identify times in Thailand when I started driving and thinking like that, and I definitely wasn't ready and had a big crash. But yeah, I think I'm pretty good on the scooter. And yes, when you get so I wear 30 pence plastic glasses now. You'll see very soon. I buy them very soon, within the next few episodes on English Refugee. And it's more for the dust and the sand. Not sand, for dust. Dust and build it. Like, so in Vietnam, you've got dust all the way through Southeast Asia because it's hot and the lands dry out. But then in Vietnam, you've got lots of building material dust as well. Not so much in Cambodia, you've just got the dust. So I wear glasses for that, and they also deal with flies. So I've been doing that for, let's say, 6 weeks now. And there's been a couple of times, one I can remember in particular very recently, a week ago, where I'm driving along and a bee hits my glasses right on my eyeball and disintegrates all the glasses. And, with a real thud, bees are pretty big, especially when you're going at 30, 40 kilometers an hour. And so I just noticed in my mind. I was like, well, if I didn't have these glasses on, man, that could have been the loss of an eyeball. I mean, it's certainly, I'd have certainly had to stop. And I'm getting a memory now of when I was in Thailand and some big bug going in my eye before I'd worked out, wear 20 pence plastic glasses. And like, just having to pull over and being like, what? Almost like you've been punched, I mean, not the same, but like the shock, Thank you, Alex. Less entertaining, not you're only just beginning. Yeah, I've got to remember that. This is basically like my 10th live stream, something like that. Not overall. Like overall, it's going to be something like 20, 25. But I feel like the last batch I did, so Not Today Satan, and then a few in Bali, I was just a different person. Like, I just don't think that obviously all experience counts, and that has led to the level I can do it at now, which isn't even a good level, but it's a level. It's been a part of it, but really I class my live streaming as like learning to live stream as like the last 2 weeks. And yeah, I guess it's going well. Konig. As a person who can't settle indoors because of neighbours, yeah, what's the latest with this? I'd like to hear more. It's impossible for me to get a pet in any case, but they cost a lot too after food. So yeah, I mean, we know what they cost. It's, do you live in fear or do you trust? Like, of course, you're a Christian, so you live in fear, so that's fine. I'd like to hear the latest on your living situation. So the latest on Connig's living situation last time was he was having to sleep in the hallway. And do you live next to invaders, or is it just low IQ whites? Shugs in the house. Just been trolling the chat box of a pair of political wallopers. They actually think they're being intelligent and all aloof. Why? I'm amazed that you get anything out of trolling. Anything. I mean, I know it's not trolling like trolling, but like, I'm just amazed that you would spend your time commenting on other people's stuff. Like, I just can't be arsed with it at all. You know, X can pull me in a little bit, but I can just so feel how it doesn't serve me or anything or anyone. So yeah, I'm surprised that you wait, because you're not going to get through to them, are you? So where's it coming from? Like, what's the point? Is it, you know, like, I find that, you know, the story is, oh, I want to teach them and wake them up, but they never, you know, it's never, ever, never gets through. So yeah, I'm surprised you spend your time doing that, Shug. Tell us why. Dean, do you plan on staying in Siem Reap for a while? Yeah. It's like you travel Southeast Asia as much as I have, which isn't really that much, but it's enough to get a good grasp. And you get, and you think some places are good, like Ubud was good, Dalat was good. I feel like that's about it. I mean, Kampot was okay. I didn't really give Kampot a chance, to be fair. But you know, never did I feel like, right, yeah, great. You know, it was always like, this is okay. Dalat, I suppose Dalat was the closest I got, but then, you know, Vietnamese chaos, like, just horrendous. But, you know, Dalat as it itself, like where it's based and the climate and the size of the city and the offerings of the city, if the Vietnamese weren't so fucking chaotic and loud, then Dalat could be really special. But they're just too loud. Like, living around Vietnamese people is just not an option as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, like, living in the forest in Vietnam, it's just not an option, because they put on Vim Pop, they put on, you know, they blast out at 8 in the morning, heavy bass. It's vile. It's fucking vile. They really are, like, you know, I can really see now, they are the ends of Asia. You know, they really are. And, you know, the key part there is of Asia. So they're still amazing people, because Asians are amazing. But they're definitely the riff-raff of Asia, without a doubt. So then, particularly coming from Vietnam, you get to Siem Reap, and it's just like, oh. I recorded a video yesterday where I'm sat in the center of Siem Reap, and it's, well, silent is not true, but, you know, it's quiet, and I'm in the center of the second biggest city in Cambodia. It's beautiful. It's so me. And I think Lao would be really me as well. And then you've got Lee and Michael and everyone that they want to introduce me to. Like, there's a community here. There's a community of awake, enlightened people. There really is. Like, and then you listen to their stories, like Michael, and, you know, like, he's just like, why would you leave Siem Reap? Like, so he's lived here years, and he's basically, he hears this story often where expats will be like, yeah, I was lost until I found Siem Reap. Like, there's just something about it, and I think it's probably because Angkor Wat's here. And of course, so I'm talking energetically. I don't mean, like, you can go and look at Angkor Wat. And the people are just so special. Like, most, you know, obviously Cambodians are really amazing people, and they're quite good looking. Like, they've got cheekbones and stuff. They haven't got the flat pan faces that you see so often in many of these on this continent. So yeah, so Cambodians are great people, and then on top of that, I think there's something special about people in Siem Reap. Like, they never got conquered by Pol Pot, so their traditions go right back. They're just really happy, smiley people. And then, yeah, okay, maybe NPCs, you know, you know, there's not much behind the happiness and the smiliness, I find, but maybe that's just because I'm from a different culture and it's impossible to really see that. But you know, I'm really happy. It's not like NPCs in England that are dangerous, and I suppose if they had the same condition in indoctrination, that's what would happen. But you know, it's not like they're not full of hatred, and they've not been programmed, and they're not dangerous. Like they're lovely, they're amazing. Yeah, I think, well, put it this way, I'm buying a bike instead of renting a bike. I'm looking at 12-month contracts on houses. But that's only because that's what they insist up for. And I guess it's because of the visa situation. Because the visa situation is so good here, you know, in Vietnam, the maximum they ask for is 3 months because that's the maximum visa an expat can get. But out here, you know, you can get a visa forever, effectively. Like, yeah, okay, it's 6 months at a time, but you know, it's forever. And so they asked for 12 months, but I've been quite strong on that and held my ground. I'm waiting to see if they buckle because I don't want to sign a 12-month contract. But yeah, I'm putting down roots. You know, it really is. You get here and you're like, well, why would I go anywhere else? You know, the smoke's really good. You know, it's everything. It's got everything. And it's chilled. I can't, you know, I just can't think, other than for YouTube and clicks and content, I just can't think why I'd go anywhere else. Like, there's definitely going to be nowhere else better in Southeast Asia. Like, you know, for me particularly, I mean, it's even got hedonism here. Not that I want that, because I was going to say, if you're super hedonistic and external, then yeah, maybe Phuket's going to be better for you or something like that. But you know, for somebody who's walking this path, I just can't think of anywhere better than Siem Reap. Because okay, you go to Laos and it's super quiet, but then you've got no one else walking the path with you. And there's no doubt that being around others walking the path will aid your path walking. All right, so wow, I mean, I am amazed you're watching it, but well, now I'm amazed. Scottish Family Party Channel live stream. I mean, I'm assuming that's some sort of political party. Why are you even taking any interest in politics? I know you're not taking interest in politics. I know you're not. But like, why are you watching it? That's why. I'm like, why? I needed to vent to the superficial. Superficials is a good word, actually. I don't get it. I don't get it with you, Fat Shrug. You're way too good for that. Yeah, this is very true. I'm not going to read it all, but basically, you know, don't feed your dogs poison. Don't feed them dog food, and you shouldn't really have to go to the vets too much. And this is coming from someone who owns a French bulldog, so fucking hell. I ditched my Osmo 3 for the DJI Action 6. Oh, I've never even heard of that. I love the Pocket. I think it's fantastic. And it seems to have, so I can only compare it to filming on a phone. So for 2 days, I built my Osmo 3. For 2 days, I had to film English refugee content on my phone. And the difference was dramatic in terms of people's reactions. When people see that, they think professional. And they're much more, hey, woo, Cambodia. Whereas when you go in like this, you just look like a fucking tourist that wants to put it on their Facebook page, you know? And no one's interested. So there's a big difference I found. Now, I don't know what the DJI Action 6 looks like. I've never even heard of it. And to be honest, I don't want to know it, because if it's better than the Osmo, I'm going to be very upset, because I feel like I've just committed to the Osmo 4 for the next at least 2 years after spending $600. Especially seeing as I've only had one donation in 44 minutes. Thank you very much to the one. You're hugely appreciated. It'd be nice if some people joined you, because I've just had some very big YouTube bills and another big bill, which I can't really tell you about yet. So I actually solved this quite a while ago. So nice, but can it connect to the S25? So the Osmo Pocket 3 can connect to the S25 if you use a wire. I feel I'm surprised you haven't seen that. It's got, I reckon it's in tomorrow's episodes, if not the day after, assuming I'm doing 2 a day. It's got to be in the next couple of days' episodes. Where I finally, after a year of owning a Galaxy S25, work out how to connect it with my DJI Osmo 3. Yeah, had I not have worked that out, C plebs. Sorry, that's just how I see it, and that's what I'm going to call you. Not that I think you're a pleb. I mean, there is something I really don't like about you, but I'm not going to go into it because other cunts might start doing it. But apart from that, I like you. Anyway, what am I saying? It's something around, I wouldn't have bought another Osmo if I hadn't have worked out how to connect it. I couldn't carry on using that old iPhone that's now at the bottom of my safe and hopefully will never have to be switched on again. Oh yeah, this is the key point. She hasn't poisoned her pets, you know. If you don't want vet's pills, then don't let the vets give them the juice that makes them have to see them all the time. Allegedly, for entertainment purposes, only joking, always trust your vet. Vodka. 6 a.m. vodka. The enlightened one. The enlightened way. No, it's coffee, mate. It's weasel ass coffee. Every 4 minutes. Fucking hell, I put it on medium. So William reckons, he goes, you must be getting some coin as adverts every 4 minutes. Also, you've done well since you left the UK. Well, fucking hell, I almost put it on frequent. I was like, let's rinse these plebs. No, I'm only joking. If it really is every 4 minutes, then I'll take it down from medium. So there's frequent, medium, and then presumably infrequent. We'll try infrequent, but you know, I need to get something back. But every 4 minutes is excessive. Is it like one of those, like you can skip it in 3 seconds? Because that's not too bad. But yeah, there's definitely a balance. Every 4 minutes doesn't feel very balanced. Right, so this is a cunt. I've used Brave, so this is what C Plebs does. No, of course I don't get my shekels if you don't see the adverts. Like, how fucking dare you? How fucking dare you be so selfish? You know, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It really pisses me off. And to be so stupid, like, oh, maybe they still get, like, no, of course, we get paid by the adverts. So if everyone, I get it. I get why you do it as an individual, but you know, you've got to see the bigger picture. If everyone did that, there'd be no YouTube. There'd be no YouTube creators. So you're basically being an absolute selfish prick, and you've lost all my respect. However, this one gets all my respect. So C Plebs is in this category as well, cunt. Just wanted to say, hey, with a tenner. That's more than a hey. That's a big that's a big bundle of love. Thank you so much, Spiritual Worry. Great to have you with us. Very motivating. I feel super motivated for this chat now. Also, I came on this chat. Oh, put it on Facebook instead of stream. Oh, that's interesting. I put it on my Facebook by mistake instead of Kick. Oops, I didn't actually mean to do that. That's quite interesting. Honestly, I came onto this live, and I kind of come onto every live, but more so this one. In fact, more so for one last night, hence why I went into a defensive fucking rant, and it was horrible. But luckily, you couldn't hear it because my mic wasn't on. Every time I come onto a live, I come on like, can I do this? Is this my last live? I kind of come on like proving to myself that I can do it. I wonder if that ever ends. I think, you know, I feel like that had ended before I started smoking. So the last few lives when I was sober, I feel like I'd got over that. And then I started smoking and it's like back worse than ever. Yeah, before, man, it is another level. It is another level. Like the picture quality on it is. I'm excited, and it's new for me. So for anyone listening, Konig is just saying nice upgrade. So I've always been a technophobe, and I've never enjoyed technology. I've never been the guy waiting for the new iPhone or anything like that. I've always got a new phone when my phone's broken, and this isn't me being like I've always, you know, there was a time in my life where I was materialistic, so I'd be driving a Porsche, but I wouldn't have a new iPhone. And I think it was more out of fear and just really, I think I just knew, even though I was conditioned and stupid and materialistic, I just knew that it was a scam. Like, you don't need the new one. Like, you know, they're good for at least 5 years, and they're very good for 5 years, you know? So I knew it was all purely status, having the latest iPhone or whatever. And I wasn't that, you know, it's weird because I was incredibly status driven. I guess for me, it was pleb status. Like, I saw that was status for the office workers. No, I'm going to buy a Porsche and build a fucking £500,000 house that I end up selling to a Premiership footballer. Like, I don't need your fucking plebby iPhone status. So I think that's actually what it was. But this is the first piece of technology. I think when Stephen bought me the Galaxy S25, that was the first thing I was ever excited about, because I just had that piece of shit. But then I couldn't connect the camera to it, so that was a bit of a damp squib. But I was still very excited about the filming quality on it and stuff like that. So it was the first time I've ever been excited about a piece of technology, because I could see it directly impacting my career. And then this is the first time that there was no resistance to the money. It was just like, I was just so like, I need this, I deserve this. You know, this is meant to be. And just so excited. Now, I do have a resistance to learning settings and stuff like that. So I used my DJI 3 for 2 years without knowing any settings. I never changed the setting. And I'm like, this time, I'm like, I think I should actually like watch some videos and learn how to use this, you know? Learn all the different settings and like nighttime mode. Like, I've never used nighttime mode, for example. Like, come on, you've got the best camera on the market under $1,000 and you don't know how to use it. So I think I'm even going to go to those levels with this one. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is the way to do it. You just become a YouTube member for about £11 a month. In fact, is this? Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just being a YouTube Premium member, but it's £16 a month is my understanding. So I don't know what you're talking about, Sabrina. Am I about to get angry with somebody that donated to me? I don't want to get angry at you. But I will get angry if you're stopping me from being paid. When I'm like giving you 5 hours a day, I think it's absolutely disgusting. But I'm hoping she means YouTube Premium membership. I mean, I just see it as a no-brainer. So mine's £16 a month, so that's 50 pence a day. I spend at least 4 hours a day listening to YouTube. I mean, it's just an absolute no-brainer. And all these like Braves and stuff, like, it means you can't use the app. So again, you just don't love yourself. You're just not honoring yourself. Like, for 50 pence a day, you could use the app, which is so easy, and have no ads. Like, it's just an absolute no-brainer. My cat can't go to the vet because she would tear me to shreds trying to get her into a box. So when she got her eye infection, I had to research natural healing, and thank goodness it worked. It sounds like your cat is your teacher, because as all of us, we're very repressed and too lazy to learn how to actually use. I released last night the start of my little series on herbal health, where I chat to the doctor. So basically, I've just got rid of 2 cold sores with apple cider vinegar, and now I'm getting rid of my verruca with apple cider vinegar. And that only happened, you know, I've got to a point where I'm not taking the lazy option enough for this to have happened. But for years, I've just taken the lazy option, creams and pharmaceuticals. And we do that until we're forced. And like, this cat has come along to teach you, you know, to show you, even though intellectually, I'm sure you've been aware for a long time that there's a herbal healing for everything. Yes, we can be intellectually aware of it, but because it's been hidden from us, it takes a lot of effort to find it. And in my experience, and it sounds like your experience too, it's not until one of your furry friends or you get ill that you'll go through that hassle. So the cat is your teacher. Awesome, man. Oh no, that's not at me. That's to someone else. Yeah, it's a really good quote. It's one that I'm resonating with less. I used to love it. So the more I get to know people, the more I like my dog, Mark Twain. Definitely in terms of the masses, obviously, but I feel like I've had a big shift on, you know, I used to just think that no one was worthy of my time and that I'd never really enjoy anyone's time. And then I realized that actually that was just ego, creating a story to protect myself from people that can really help me. So yeah, suddenly meeting Lee and Michael and the other people that are sporadically around has taught me that actually after, the isolation is crucial for anyone on this path. It's an inevitable part of the journey. But I do feel like I'm coming out of it now, but certainly, obviously not in terms of the masses. I mean, it's just nonsense. You were much happier pulling hairs. I mean, are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to shame me? Are you trying to insult me? Or are you just stupid? Probably a bit of all of it. Yeah, I mean, they're not. So now Koenig is changing his mind. Pets are cheaper than I thought. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, other than a vet's bill, pets are incredibly cheap. But for me, they'd be like, they're just such a priority. Like dog or car, like obviously it depends on your life situation and like if you have to travel far for work and stuff. But for me, like I'd so much rather have a dog than a car. Sugar. People that like law and sausages should never be allowed to see either being made. Oh, I like that. So it's basically saying that it's all a farce, and if you see it being made, then you won't like it anymore because you'll see what's in it, I think. This is a good question. Dean, what's your opinion on Lee's involvement in AI? Yeah, fantastic. I mean, so if you're scared of AI, you're in fear. It's that simple. You're just projecting your fear onto AI. Like there's a lot of like people in the spiritual, like baby souls, but like, I'll never use AI. Nah, it's fear. Like it's repression and fear. And it's based on, being in the external and trying to control externally. Like it's a knife. It's a tool, just like a knife. It can be used to cut butter, or it can be used to end someone. You can say that about anything. That's everything, really. It's all about how you use it. It's like when we see these headlines, car goes into 7 men. Well, no, it's not a car, is it? It was the driver of a car. And the driver of a car probably isn't English. So is the car evil? Or is it the invader behind the wheel of the car that's evil? Is AI evil, or is it the person using AI that could be evil? Well, Lee's not evil, and Lee is using it for good. So yeah, I just think it's a question that one would only ask if they're spinning in fear and are very repressed and don't trust themselves. You're an absolute cunt, Shrug. You're an absolute fucking cunt. Like, so what about the creators? You want me to sit here and create for you for absolutely nothing? You can fuck off, you big fat cunt. You big fat bald cunt. Fuck you, Shrug. That's really triggered me. So selfish. That's such a shame because you're my favorite person, but now I hate you. Good. I'm glad you lost your fucking dog, you big fat bald cunt. I'm only joking. I'm going too far now. But I am really pissed off that you do that. But yeah, losing a dog, man. Bulldogs as well, they're the best. I don't feel for you because I'm just angry right now. The truth is good if you can hear it. It's when you're not ready to hear it. And so people like Koenig are really interesting because they don't want the truth. He just wants to stay in his beliefs. He just wants to stay in his fear because they help him with his fear. Yet he doesn't get triggered by the truth. And he even donates money whilst receiving the truth. So it's very, very strange one. I've never really met many people like, oh God, he's talking about Jesus. Look. It's like speaking to a child, man. So boring. like just regurgitating what he's been told and thinking that it means something. Like it's just total indoctrination. Let's go back to Shug. We all have different paths through life, and the destination aim is the same: live, love, learn. Do people? I don't think that's true. I think that should be true, and it is really true. But like, not many people are looking to learn. They're looking to reinforce their delusions. I don't think anyone's capable of love unless they've done a lot of self-work, so that's validation. So I would say it's live, validate, repress. Live, validate, spaz out. Live, validate, reinforce delusions, you know, for most people. But that's obviously what it should be. But you think even with that, which I don't agree with, it feels like that's why we're here experiencing a limited aim is the same. Live, love, learn. I don't understand why that means. If that was true, if people really wanted to live, love, and learn, then I don't think we would be experiencing this limited 3D existence. I think we're experiencing a limited 3D existence because people are living, hating, and spazzing. What's your thoughts on that, Shug? And what's your thoughts on being a big, fat, bold cunt that doesn't contribute to... Actually, sorry, you're a Patreon member, so you can do what you want. Yeah, actually, that's how you do it. I mean, I just think you do YouTube Premium. But, or you join the Patreon of 5. Like, the 5 YouTubers that really serve you, and then you use Brave. But you've got to make sure you're giving something. Otherwise, why would you ever get the content? You know, it's just so selfish. But yeah, I take back my rant at Shug. Sorry, Shug. And you know I love you. Shug is a Patreon member. So Shug has done his contributing, and now he's finding his way of not having to use the ads. So Shug is fine. Connick. I respect your way of thinking, Tom. I don't think bad of you. Oh, good. Connick doesn't think bad of me. What a relief. And I treat people how I would like to be treated. And yeah, well, that really shows, Connick. Really, really shows, man. You know, I've got great respect for you as somebody that I don't really respect, i.e. a Christian. I've got great respect for you. Well, for this, for exactly this. Like, you really do show up like this. Like, this is very true. Like, this runs through you. In the way you comment, in the way you give, and the energy that I feel from that. This is exactly it. That you treat people how I would like to be treated, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, I totally agree. I also think there's been a lot of comments I've seen from you that suggest that you're a people pleaser and you don't really honor yourself. But that's inevitable if you're in belief and desperation and cope. But from that level of perception, you're definitely one of the best. But it is so boring for an enlightened one. Like, it's just people-pleasing boringness and delusion. Like, I couldn't bear to talk to you. I couldn't bear to spend any time with you. Because there'd be no vulnerability. There'd be no, like, we wouldn't be getting anywhere. There'd be no truth. There'd be no, like, you'd be like, I believe, Jesus. Oh, so boring. So desperate. Isn't it... Brother, I rode smaller bikes on the road for years. Loads of mad stuff happened. You do like 20 miles per hour, but the filming is sweet. You do like... Yeah, so when I'm filming, I'm driving very slow. I'm not super fast. You know, I have my days where I'm pushing the boundaries, but it's more in terms of overtaking and weaving. I'm certainly not... I mean, I don't drive a good enough bike to drive super fast. No, I don't think... I've not seen any of the mods. Who are the mods? I mean, really, Debbie is the mod. So I think now that Lee's missus has moved back to Argentina, it appears that he now sleeps at night. So I think there might have been something going on there. And I think there might be a reason she's gone back to Argentina, but that's not my story to share. But yeah, suddenly Lee doesn't sit up all night, so that's quite telling, isn't it? So Lee won't be joining us for nighttime mods anymore, I don't think. And Liz isn't really a mod. I just made her a mod, and she doesn't do anything, and that's fine. We love Liz. So Debbie is the only mod, and she's clearly not here tonight. I forgot to text her, but you know, Well, actually, I didn't. It came up and I was like, no, why would you text her? It's 10 o'clock at night in the UK. It's like an expectation, you know, like I don't expect her to be here. If she's here, she's here. She's not, she's not. And we don't need mods, as the chat is clearly showing. I mean, it's good to have them. It's handy. I really appreciate Debbie for what she does. But, you know, I can handle it myself. And actually, there's been nothing. It's interesting, actually. Have you noticed that since we've gone to this time, the demonic demon isn't in any of the chats, and it's because he's an alcoholic and he lives in Southeast Asia. So he obviously, so the only priority he has in his life over me is getting shit-faced. So he can't do nighttime live streams. So funny. Yeah, so sunglasses are for plebs. So, Konig, I recommended you get sunglasses for a bike, but you said no, they're for plebs. No, I've not got sunglasses. They are there for plebs. Glad you got some now. It's better to protect your eyes. No. I haven't got sunglasses. They're for plebs. I want to connect with the sun. I want to connect with all that is. I don't want to be repressed and scared of life. I don't want to be trying to control life and shutting things out and having stupid belief systems. I want to be open to the truth. And the sun is part of that. Once you stop using sunglasses, you just don't need them. Like I never think, oh God, I need sunglasses. Like, because it's not that your eyes are climatized, like your eyes should always be like this, but you fuck them up by using sunglasses and all the other retarded shit you do. So no, definitely not taking your retarded advice and got some sunglasses. I've got some 30p plastic glasses that are transparent. I just posed a question, so this is to the Spactards. Shug, I just posed the questions they couldn't really answer. I get pissed at people feeling all windswept and intelligent. Yeah, but what is it that's triggering you? Like, you know, what is it you've not resolved in you that gets you pissed with them? Like, I'm really surprised that a man of your enlightenment can still get pissed by retards. Like, you know, they can affect me a little bit in my comments on my stuff, but I don't. I mean, I don't really go on X, but I suppose if I go on X and read some liberal, then yeah, I can notice piss as you describe it. But I don't really react from that place anymore, and I'm surprised you do. Yeah, so there's a lot of people talking about how there's no bugs, and absolutely. I mean, it's better. I mean, that could be the biggest catastrophe coming. I mean, my understanding is when the bees are gone, we're gone. And the bees are basically gone. So it's just, how do you even talk about it? Like the fact that this isn't even spoken about, the fact that this isn't a massive thing, but then of course it isn't, because they're spraying us and their poison is in every way. But it's like, you know, when I go like you know, it's coming from common sense, you know, it's coming from like the greater good, it's coming from, you know, still having some sort of conditioning that the government is here to serve us deep down in the subconscious. And therefore you end up shocked by it, but you know, then you're like, oh right, yeah, but it's evil. And they're doing everything they can to destroy the world and our lives. So, but there is no doubt that there are way less bugs now, and it's very concerning. So this is how Konig is dealing with the flat situation. I just live outside now and go back to my house to charge up my power. Oh, what, you actually live outside? To charge up my power banks and shower and wash clothes, but I camp outside in the country. Oh my God. He's camping outside in the countryside to deal with it. So that's amazing. And I feel like this is, you know, a perfect example of following the science and following, you know, learning and surrendering. Even for even a Christian, bloody hell. I do like you, Konig. I wish you were a bit more intelligent, but I do like you. So that's really fucking cool, man. It's like, Yeah, I mean, for me, that's very much how the universe talks to you. You know, it makes things unbearable until you do what serves you. So Connig would have, I assume, would have never chosen to go and live in the countryside in a tent. Hence why he had a flat. So the universe makes it intolerable because he needs to experience living outside in the countryside, because that will definitely propel you to new levels. Wow, that's amazing. What a great answer. I was not expecting that, Connig. That's fantastic. I'm dead happy for you, mate. I don't know what Mara is, but I'll just answer what the visa situation in Cambodia is like. It's the best. 6 months, no problem. I think you might have to leave at 6 months to renew it, but you know it's pretty easy from Siem Reap. You know the big problem with Dalat, with you know Vietnam is only 3 months, but also Dalat is miles from any border, and the airport's closed at the moment, so it was a particularly bad place to do a visa run from. Siem Reap is easy, especially if you're not barred from Thailand. So it's just great. And then the immigration, it's like so like it's friendly. I can't go into it too much because you know I can't share. Yeah, you know I can't share really what happened. But it's like no immigration I've ever experienced before. Let's just say the friendliest immigration I've ever experienced. You know, it feels like they're your friends, and okay, there might be some ulterior motives in that, but not scamming or anything like that. Just anyway, I'm not going to say any more, but you should be able to work it out. But I've never experienced such friendly immigration officers in my life. I've never experienced such help, such service from an immigration officer in my life. Cambodia is the best. It really is very, you know. I wouldn't even choose to live in Thailand now. Like, you know, I'd choose Cambodia over Thailand for sure. It's Siem Reap's amazing. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Like, I can't believe how good it is. You know, I've lived in Southeast Asia for 2 years now, and this is just the best by a mile. Now it is rainy season and it is going to get very hot, so that could be an issue. But I think it's worth putting up with the heat. Yeah, I'm in Siem Reap. Oh, you're talking about the Vietnamese? Yeah, I mean, it's their culture, it's their way. For them, it's great. It's very, very hard for a Westerner to be around. Very hard. Unless you're like numb, hedonistic, stupid, you know, then you'll probably get on with it. But so, Rachel, you might love it. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I need a poo. Let's have a poo break, guys. Coffee and poo break. It'd be lovely to see a donation when I get back. It would be very motivating. Oh dear, we are back to slop. 3 days of solid pooing seems to be over. Gutted. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, what a shame. I was really enjoying solid poos. Gutted. Ah, it seems my ass is back to being a waterfall. 3 days of extreme solidification. Very solid poos. They were fantastic. And I even got to a point where I was like, oh, is it over? Like, obviously, I know I'll go through a process again. Obviously, I know I'll be in the void again. Obviously, I'll have to purge again. Of course, there will be sloppiness occurring again. But I was like, have I now set like a new standard? So basically, I now have solid poos because I'm no longer in intense anxiety. And I actually convinced myself, like, I was like, yeah, I think that's the thing. I think this is my new way now. I think my poos are solid, except for extreme times of purging. Oh no, it seems we're purging again. I only got a 3-day hiatus. It's not like when I was working with a body worker and it was literally just water, you know, it's probably 20, 30% solid consistency, but then obviously the 70% water means it's not solid, but it's not like just totally gushing. I like how we always get onto poos after a poo break. Can we have a donation, please? I feel like I need some more motivation. Yeah, it feels like, I don't really know Sam, but it does feel like quite a comparison. So somebody said, it might have been Albert, somebody said further up the chat, I saw to Connig, you should start a YouTube channel like Nomad Sam. And what first came up to me was like, no, he's way too boring and autistic. And then I was like, oh, hang on, that will probably work. Alex, I like Alex. I'm just gonna I'll wait a little bit. The video from earlier was worthy of prime time viewing. If that doesn't become your highest viewed video, you are doing something right. I was enchanted by her. She's the one. Yeah, she's great, isn't she? It's a shame she's left. I'd like to have created more content with her. Yeah, honestly, mate, I've just accepted that it's never going to be big viewing. You know, the world isn't ready for the truth, or it's not allowed to hear the truth, however you want to see it. And I don't think I'm ever going to be a big YouTuber for that reason. So I've had a big detachment compared to how it used to be with views and stuff. Like I still obviously get the, like, when I get a good video, I still get the yeah feeling. I still get a like, oh, when a video crashes, but I don't really let it define me. However, like, if I have a succession, so this is what I feel I'm in now, like a succession of poor performing videos, then I can notice the story of like, of failure, of like, oh, am I not going to make it as a YouTuber, even though I've already made it, but I can still go into it. And by made it, I mean I earn a living so I can live in Southeast Asia. That's what I'm talking about. I feel like that is set now. Like, I really never need to worry about whether I'm going to have enough money to live in Southeast Asia. But I can still. So before this live, I did kind of have that story. I've only looked at I've very briefly. I've just seen reviewing figures on the Tom Greatrex video. So they're bad. Like, that video is. I mean, I can already answer your question. It's absolutely not going to be one. It's ranked 7 out of 10. So I'm pretty sure this is right. In fact, let's get it on the screen. Of my latest videos, so YouTube ranks all your videos out of your last 10 videos, and I'm almost certain that one is a 7 out of 10, so it's below average. And it very rarely changes. You'll get one video in 100. Oh, it's now 8 out of 10. So you'll get one video in 100 that changes after 3 days. Maybe not even 100, maybe 1,000. Very rare. I've had it happen to me twice where a video's done bad and then 3 days later YouTube's gone, oh no, actually it's good. That one. Share. Something went wrong. Oh, bugger. Oh, fuck it. Obviously it's not meant to be. But yeah, it's an 8. Oh God, what's going on? Why has it all gone shit? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you kidding me? Why has it kicked me out of the studio? What the fuck? What the actual fuck are you doing? What the fuck? Did I just disappear then? What happened from your guys' perspective? Fuck me, I'm never going to try and share a screen again. And why is it? I feel like I'm at more of an angle than I was. Fuck me. Such a bad streamer. It's a good job we're not on Kick tonight, seeing as that's supposed to be a professional streaming platform. So yeah, this is interesting. I've accidentally, maybe on purpose, but feels like accidentally clicked Facebook instead of Kick. And there's, so my ego is attached to streaming on Facebook because it's where all the people who knew me as a businessman within the new HC, but then failed, are on. Not all of them, obviously, but it's from that time. I've not used this Facebook page since then. And it's interesting, so I thought this Facebook page was gone. Right, so what are you looking at? Oh, fuck it. I thought this Facebook page, I was just thinking I needed a donation. Someone's done something. We'll get to that in a minute. Thank you. I thought this Facebook page had gone. I now have a new Facebook page, which I just use for practical stuff. I don't add friends or anything like that, or write status. Then when I linked my StreamYard to Facebook, my old profile came up, which has got all my old friends on. And obviously my ego is like, oh yeah, I'd like them to see that I'm an absolute ultimate G grifting on the internet now. So yeah, maybe some of them are going to see. Not that it matters, because it's just living in the minds of others. So Alex is, in this comment, Alex is referring to a video on Tom Greatrex where I interview a former doctor about why she stopped being a doctor and now uses herbal remedies. She's absolutely crazy, always trusts doctors. Yeah, it's a great video. It's a great video. And it's not just informative, it's like she's interesting and beautiful and, full of personality, full of great energy, I should say. But yeah, she's gone back to Argentina, sadly, from my perspective. You just can't beat a good shit. It's so true. C-plebs, you can't beat a good shit. Try eating just chicken and rice. I was surprised at how eating that gave out decent shits. I like beef too much, mate. I like beef too much. Here he is, the third contributor tonight. Conroy, a regular contributor. Thank you very much, Conroy. Just check you don't have a question attached. No question attached. He just wants to give. He just wants to give. And, you know, just a few more, could chuck a few more 2 quids in and it all adds up. Just get a big coffee. Thanks for two Convoy. Let me know if you have a question you'd like answering or an observation or whatever you like. I'll even get me, well, maybe not for 2, yeah. I'll even give you a windmill. Jack Knife TV, I don't feel like I know you. My favorite parts of your video is when you're narrating a point and then, oh wow, look at that bug tangent that lose track of. I'm glad I'm not the only one who does this. Yeah, like bugs, not bugs are the best. Animals are the best. Bugs are the worst of the animals, but fuck me, they can be fascinating. This camera definitely isn't right. Oh, that's better. They can be fascinating. Like the colours on bugs. I don't like bugs. You know, I'm not, you know, as people go with bugs, I'm not too bad. I'm not like screaming and stuff, but, and I'm getting better at just allowing them to be on me. And I'm also, oh God, is there any point going into this? So mosquitoes apparently are here to serve us. I won't do this justice, but they're basically acupuncturists. And their wings emanate a very high vibration. So apparently, according to, well, it's Lee, obviously, and I'm not going to do this justice at all, but he reckons they're karmatically the only animals that are okay to kill, and that they're the only animals that have chosen to be here in complete karmatic service to humans, essentially, or maybe to animals, yeah, all animals. And he says, like, they're like acupuncturists clearing meridians. This is not what Lee says, this is me trying to convey what Lee says, so obviously doing a very bad job. And it's something about the vibration of their wings. So they come and like open up the meridians, and then through the vibration move shitty energy. Something along those lines, basically. And it's interesting because for a long time I've been on a journey with mosquitoes where I like hated them, tried to control every situation around them, thought the bites were the worst things ever, and then I just stopped caring and realized. And then suddenly, guess what? They barely bite me, and the bites last 5 minutes. However, it's interesting. So last night I got really. Actually, I say last night I started at 5 in the morning, and I didn't stop. So when it got to, it was a great day. And I also did loads of editing. Like something shifted. Like before, when I would smoke, I would go into shame. I would go into like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I would do that all day. I wouldn't be able to do anything. Whereas yesterday, I edited 8 videos. Like something's changed. So I don't feel like I can record videos yet. I still recorded an English refugee video, but that's easy. That's different. But in terms of like, there's 2 videos I really want to do for Tom Greatfix. So one for English refugee, which is me like speaking. I want to speak about an endpoint experience I had for English refugee, and then I want to speak about 2 things for Tom Greatfix. And right now I'm in the story of I can't do that if I'm smoking. Now I've got a client meeting today, so I've got to be circus today. So I reckon I'll get those boshed out today. So yesterday, oh, that's not good. I've just changed coffee. Wow, that's really not good. Wow, okay, I know which coffee to buy now. Because the other one is so, oh God. So what do? I've just opened a bag of coffee. It was $4. It tastes like shit. No, it's not too bad. There's a really good bag of coffee that I just finished. It cost $3. So do you bin the $4 coffee because it tastes like shit and just go and honour yourself and get the $3 one that you know you love? Or so the Tom of the past would absolutely have to drink this coffee because he spent money on it. But now Tom is like, well, you don't like it, don't drink it, go buy this one. You're not going to notice $4. I know, but I think I'll still drink it and be the Tom of the past. But this is, this is trust and surrender playing out in the external. Obviously a very small example of it, but it's, or you could say a very meaningless example, but it's not. It's in these subtleties that it's when we get to observe this level of subtlety that we're really observing ourselves. I.e., it's not about the coffee. It's about, do I love myself? Am I choosing fear? Am I choosing scarcity over trust? So obviously the trust would be to just be like, not even think about the $3 and just be like, well, I like this coffee, so that's all I'm drinking. No more questions. But the fear is, yeah, but it's meant $3 on it. And then the ego might wrap it up into some sort of environmental argument, like, no, when it's environmentally bad to not use it, like all these fucking stories just because you don't love yourself. Yes, the bugs are very distracting. You'll see that more in the Nambam videos. So wherever you are, yeah, there's a few good few more Dalat videos. But when we move to Nambam, so my Patreons, by the end of today, my Patreons, I think they're already in Nambam. Maybe not actually. No, they're not in Nambam yet. My Patreons are at the end of the Dalat journey. By the end of today, they will be in Cambodia. In fact, if I can, I've just got these. It's probably 3 more videos. So I've edited all my recent videos. So Nambam and Cambodia. I think I've got the last 3 Dalat videos to edit, and then I can give my Patreons everything. So from hopefully by the end of today, certainly in the next 48 hours, my Patreons will be watching yesterday's video, which I just think is fucking great. So to link back to your point, they're going to see all the Nambam stuff, and that there's so many bug shots in Nambam. Like Nambam was unbelievable for nature. Yeah, so that is a bit of an issue, isn't it? I have streamed quite late, so it's now 10 to 12 for you guys. We'll try and eke out another hour, see if we can get a few more shekels out of you. Yes, yeah, totally. You don't really want McCullen on you, do you? So bugs are amazing, but I agree at arm's length. Yeah, I think overall, I appreciate colourful ones, but overall, I would say they cause me more stress than joy. And the main stress would be, oh yeah, I forgot to finish the mosquito thing. Okay, this kind of links to it. The main stress would be if you're living in something like this and you have a light on in here, and then you go out for smoke at night and your whole window is just covered in bugs. Right, so last night, super hot. And so I honestly have no idea what time. I'm going to guess it was about, you know what, it might have even been 5 p.m. I reckon it was between 6 and 7 p.m. So doors open, my fan is here instead of in my bedroom, which obviously I always leave my fan in my bedroom. So I've obviously gone and crashed out, not expecting it to be the fan or crash out. I've left the fucking door open. There's no lights on, because I don't live in lights. But my bedroom door isn't closed. Like I've clearly just like, gone and I needed to lie down. But obviously with the intention of, well, maybe it was just no intention. Maybe I was just too soon. But basically, I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. So I've had a very, hang on. 3 o'clock this morning, maybe 9, 10, 4 o'clock this morning for me. So I've had a really good sleep. But that door's open, my bedroom door's open, my fan's in the wrong place, and I am covered. I mean, they're pretty much gone now because, like I say, if you don't obsess over them, they just go within 20 minutes maybe. I can still feel a couple on my legs, but I was covered in mosquito bites. So very interesting that came up in the stream tonight. Crack that off. Do you do any cooking in your apartment, or is it as cheap to eat out? Yeah. So in terms of finances, there's just no reason to cook. The reason to cook is if you want to have control over what oils are used. I think they use a lot of seed oils, and I think they reuse oils out here. I think that's an issue. If you want to know where your food has come from as best as you can. I think that so this is the thing about living in one place for a long time. You can find a butcher that gets the good meat and all this. But then what's the good meat? Because somebody was saying to me, like, if you search Vietnamese butchers, you can find Australian beef, and you think, oh, great, Australian beef, that's got good standards. But then, they've started jabbing the cows in Western countries. So, I think, you get to where Lee is with all this, where you just realize that you're an energetic being that can purge anything, and also death doesn't even matter anyway, and you just get into sync with everything. So Lee uses washing detergent, and I don't think he'd use deodorant or anything ridiculous like that, but he's certainly not going to spray fucking Glade into them. But he also is not going to worry about. And it seems mad to me in terms of why not just use baking soda instead of chemicals, but I really can see, like, oh, he's just not in fear. Like, there's just no fear in him. Like, there is no fear. Like, he just doesn't believe these things can hurt you, whilst obviously intellectually understanding that chemicals are poison. But he's just beyond that. So for me, that's the only reason to do it. There's something around. I'd quite like to cook eggs in the morning with these particular anti-parasitical herbs that are prevalent out here. Bit of avocado, and also it's something to do. As I become, especially if I'm sober, like, it's actually good to have stuff to do. But then again, that's also avoiding self. It's like, basically, I'm at the point where I have to accept that I really am not very good at being with self. I'm not good at sitting with self. I'm not present. I'm not meditating. And I've made great progress in that, but it's really just observing it more than doing much about it. So I do have times where I'll just lie down and listen to something and be in my breath, and I'm not really listening to that. I'm much more present. But in general, I find it very hard to just sit in silence. Very, very challenging. And that really shows up in, if I'm sober, extreme content creation to avoid myself. And obviously, obviously there's many perspectives to it, and they're all true. So when I'm sober, I'm very productive. Like a normie would say, it's all positive. It's very productive. You're making more money. You're creating more. Like, you feel better. Everything's better. But it's this 80-20 principle where, before I get onto the 80-20 principle, but that becomes an addiction, and yes, it's healthier than smoking. Yes, in my external material world, it produces better results. But it ends up in mania, and it ends up with me getting angry at people. And I don't know where it goes from there, because I always smoke again at that point. Presumably, if I stuck with it and felt it and was with it and really observed it, I would make more progress. But also, I needed to sort of reset. I needed like, okay, this has got a bit much. So it's like Michael really nailed it, and I won't be able to do it justice. But so if you don't smoke and you start smoking, it's like your creativity expands, you expand, it's an expansive plan. But when you've used it chronically for many, many years, it's gone like this, and then you get sober and you go like this, expand, expand, expand. But that has a shelf time as well. It's because it's new. I'm not doing it justice. Michael absolutely nailed it. And then there's the 80% principle. So being sober is 80% better, but the 20% is I get angry, and I can't fucking sit still. like I'm just having to do all the fucking time. So, you know, there are benefits to it, but the majority of it is negative. I lose my confidence. I don't feel like I can record videos whilst under the influence of it. I question whether I can do live streams. I get less donations on my live streams, it seems, which I guess that means the live stream is worse. I don't spend any time with Lee. I isolate. Yeah, that's it, really. Spiders are great. Spiders are the worst. I always know there's one about before I see it. They're such fantastic animals. They don't hurt you at all. They eat all the flies. It's such an irrational fear. And it is, you know, it's very, it's a great symbol of fear and how irrational it is, because there's nothing to fear with the spider. You know, it's just totally irrational. I mean, I get why, like I get, you know, they've got 8 legs and they move kind of weird, and we watched Arachnophobia as children and all that. But no, that coffee is ass. That coffee is ass. In Florida, I learned to just sit back and watch them feast rather than flailing around like a possessed person, slapping myself. Wow. I'm not quite at that level, but this is what I'm speaking into and where I'm going. So you're saying that you can let one land on you and not do anything about it? That's very impressive if that's true. I'm not sure Lee even does that. I don't know. I feel like he would still swap them away if he sees one. I mean, that's massive to sit there and watch it do its thing. However, I totally agree. I mean, I totally intellectually agree, and I'm almost at this point. So I'm at the point where I am like, should I chase it around the room to kill it? Which is exactly what you're speaking about. So control over surrender. Sounds like you're very surrendered, Jack. I'd like to hear more about you. Here's some more. I remember you freaking out at a beach because the mozzies were driving you crazy. Yeah, exactly. So you just, you know, it's enjoy the beach and accept the mozzies and learn to be present and accepting and surrendered, or freak around and control everything like a retarded, jabbed up office worker. You know, it's obvious what the answer is, isn't it? Nestle and probably other instant coffees are adding locust dust. Oh my God. To it, so I'm on organic fair trade filter coffee now. So I don't think this is Nestle, but who fucking knows, man? So product of Cambodia. I don't think it's got Nestle written on it anywhere. But the other one I was drinking, so this is the ass coffee. Really bad. The other one I was drinking was off a little market stall and just came in a plastic bag with no branding. So that feels good, but you know, I don't know anymore. Unless the stream is public on Facebook. By default, it's set to friends only. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fuck Facebook. Who cares about Facebook? Yeah, I mean, instant coffee is just a no anyway. Like, you know, you're not really drinking instant coffee. Like, that's not coffee. Yeah, I'm confident that one in the transparent bag with no branding that tasted of chocolate and honey. Amazing. Oh, I can't wait to go and buy more of that. Oh, fuck this bag, man. I'm just going to go and buy more of that. I'm not drinking this shit. Oh, God. It's really bad. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be necessary. But that's, you know, I was going to pretend to be shocked, but yeah, actually, that's not too bad. I mean, you wouldn't shock me if you told me they were putting arsenic in it now, mate. Like, that's where I'm at. Koenig. While this life is too short, I am going to support someone and be nice to people. Yeah. So I'm going to support someone and nice to someone who keeps insulting me. Oh, right, so he's having a tantrum. I'm not insulting you. I'm just telling you the truth from my perspective. But yeah, I've been waiting for this. This is what I've been waiting for, the trigger. The retard always gets triggered in the end. Because they're evil is why they're adding locust dust. Good morning, wherever you if it's morning. Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice. Also, I'm not in a contract. So, you know, I'm looking at houses now and they want 12-month contracts. And I'm like, is it even worth it? Because where I've got now, like, basically it's not got a garden. That's the only reason I want a house. But I'm footloose and fancy free and not tied to anything. So it's like, do I really want to get back into the whole contract thing? I imagine the coffee in Lao is very good. And presumably they go over. All right, so I've got to the end of the comments. There's not been many donations, so I think we'll probably end it there. I'll just scroll back up and see if there is anything. See if anyone donates in that time. Oh, Zoe's here. Let's read Zoe's comments, see if we get a donation. If we don't get a donation, we'll end the stream. Yes, I was just interested to know the difference between a birthday present sign and a dollar sign, but I'll stick to buy me a coffee for donations. Right, so I think you're talking about, yeah. So nice one, Zoe. Thank you for not letting your ego. No, it's fine. Anyway, it's fine. But of course, it's much better on Buy Me a Coffee. I get a much higher percentage. However, I do also appreciate that, you know, doing it on my lives is fun and interactive and maybe is worth a bit of a less percentage. But for someone like you who's just a consistent, regular supporter, I really appreciate that. So I think you're talking about features on YouTube. I can't answer the question. So it's just come up on my YouTube to enable gifts. So I've just enabled gifts. I don't know what they are, but I would imagine that's going to be this birthday present sign you're seeing. And I think the dollar sign is just regular donation. There's like 4 different types. There's like send a sticker, send a gift, become a member, or donate, I think. And I bet there's not really any difference. Obviously, membership is a different thing, but I bet the answer is there's not really any difference. It just looks a bit different, and it's a way of like enticing people to spend their hard-earned shekels. Yeah, Albus knows. Albus has never worn sunglasses. Yeah, that's a retard thing. Oh, I think we've lost Connie, so I've lost one of my major supporters. So, oh shoot! Wow, that's incredible. Well, oh wow, they're all coming in. So just as Connie finally has the tantrum we've all been waiting for because it was inevitable, like. And this is the thing, I'm never going to not say the truth because someone's giving me money. Like if somebody's giving away their power to something external, of course I'm going to reflect that to them. So I have been very grateful for Conic for a long time, but have been very like with his comments because it is like speaking to a 3-year-old. And the whole Christian thing is very difficult. And I've never, ever had a Christian in my life that hasn't ended up getting hugely triggered by me because I'm, you know, shattering their fragile belief system. So I've been waiting for this from Connie, waiting for this for a long time. And just as he has his tantrum, his inevitable tantrum, look who comes into the chat. The wonderful Heart of Hearts is here with her incredibly kind, regular donation. Thank you very much, Heart of Hearts. I don't think we know your name yet, do we? And maybe you want to keep it that way. It would. I feel it would be really nice to know your name, but you know, if you don't want to be named, that's absolutely fine. So for now, this person is known as Heart of Hearts. We know they're female, and was it 41 or was it 54? Those 2 numbers are in my head. I think it was 41. It's Heart of Hearts is a 41-year-old, and I'm pretty sure Irish female. I think that's all the information we have, and we love Heart of Hearts. And then for the second time tonight, Suspiria, doing my best with that, is wanting to keep the live chat going. So I guess I better do another hour because that's incredible. We've just had 50 pounds worth of donations, which is just incredible and changes the whole stream from a financial perspective from me Woo! So thanks for that, guys. But we do need more comments if we're going to go for an hour. So please get any questions, observations, retardations in now. And hopefully we can do another hour of whatever the fuck it is we're doing here. I'll aim for 3 hours based on the generosity I've just received. Wow, Jackson as well. Thanks, Jack. Bless you, man. Are you new, Jack? You've been a great contributor, great questions, great. I can't even remember what you said, but I've just loved it all. Are you the guy that was like, gets your shots by bugs too? I think you are. I think it's been less questions and just contributions that totally resonate. So it's really good to have you with us, Jack. I hope we see more of you, especially if you're going to throw in shekels. You know, you're very welcome. Okay, let's try and eat something out. So we got Talau has good. Here we go. Can I ask you a personal question? Of course you can. Is there an answer to the origins of homosexuality? Would you want to know it? Yes, of course I'd want to know it. I don't know. I don't know if there's any such thing as fixed answers anymore. You know, for me, the truth is always fluid, and that's a very new thing. I used to be very dualistic, very black and white, very yes and no, very true and not true. But I see now that it's fluid and ever changing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it from the only angle I can, which isn't the origins. I don't know anything about the origins. I can only speak from my experience. And even that's not fully clear, it's still unfolding, but I think it's trauma-based. I think it's trauma-based. I think for me personally, I think it happened in my mother's womb when she was convinced I was a girl and was like telling me I'm a girl. And then when I came out of her first words were, "I'm so disappointed." Also, she'd lost her mum tragically in a car crash like 6 months before she conceived me. And in her own words, I was conceived to fill a hole. So I think I received a lot of trauma as a womb baby thing. And I think that's probably why I came out as a batty boy. And now also what's really interesting is, and well, actually very obvious, is what I have seen predominantly in my time around gay people is absent fathers. So I'm talking about men. Fuck knows what that scissoring thing is all about. I don't understand. You know, I'm not going to speak into lesbianism, but it's probably the same. It's probably going to be an issue with the mother. So when years ago when I used to go out on the gay scene, you know, it might be too high, but I feel like saying 90% of them don't have a dad or have a crap dad. Now, my dad was not a dad. He did his best from his childish energy. My dad is a 3-year-old. My dad is maybe functions at about the level of a 7-year-old, which doesn't mean you can't have a job, because you know that's that's the general functioning ability of your average NPC office working person. So basically, I was brought up without a male role model. And I think there's something in that. I think there's something in the seeking of that and the desperation from a young boy to like, daddy, lead me, you know. And then this potentially ends up being this, you know. You end up like seeking the masculine from a very young age. And then the only way we really understand anything in this society, because we've all been, you know, indoctrinated and attacked and repressed and shamed and perverted. Basically, the only way we understand anything is sexual in this society. You know, like, for example, the darkest one that begins with PDF file. You know, that's seeking inner child connection. I.e., you know, there's a reason why most of them have all had it done to them as children. So they have seriously traumatic childhoods. They get disconnected from their inner child. They have an inner child inside them screaming energetically and what we call trauma, and through the nervous system screaming at them. And they're not even aware that it's possible to connect with it or what it is, let alone do they connect with it. But they have this energy, this seeking the inner child energy, this disconnection. but they don't know what it is, and the only way they can understand it is externally and sexually, and then guess what happens? So so I think homosexuality is on similar lines. I think it's seeking of the masculine that you were denied as a child, something like that. What I find as I heal is that women get more attractive. Now, I still think they're absolute basket cases and not worth it at all, except for this one. I'd definitely give this one a lick. And it's not about the lick. This is a sort of woman that, can hold herself, and therefore I could potentially hold her. Although I'm not, she wouldn't choose me. Like, she's way beyond me. But I'm speaking purely from my perspective. As in, like she will see me as a little boy who can't hold her, and that's true. But I can see one of the very few women in this society, and this isn't a disrespect to women, it's an acknowledgement of what's been done to all of us, and I feel like it has a bigger effect on more women, because they are not genetically designed to spot danger like men are, and they are genetically designed to be more compassionate and loving, so therefore, of course, they're more easily manipulated in an evil society. Not their fault at all. So I find most women totally repulsive, because none of them, very few of them are taking any responsibility, and that shows when you look at voting statistics and who votes left wing. Obviously, that's a very low consciousness example, but it is a good example. But there are a few women like this one who can hold herself. But unfortunately, I'm not developed enough in myself to be attractive to them. So I just end up sucking off 18-year-olds. What a life. What a life. What a life. Jack's back. We like Jack. I love the fact you embrace herbal medicine. I was treated as a child thanks to a mum. Her father was an apothecarian. I love seeing you embrace Mother Nature's. Wow, so you've really been brought up with this. And that kind of makes sense why you're surrendering. Was it you that surrendered into bugs in Florida? Was that you? Jack, you need to be part of our streams more often, man. Really like you. Really like you. It sounds like you're well on the journey, like potentially further than me. And that's not me saying. Obviously, I just have to. The reason I do that is because I know where I'm at. So that's my comparison. That's not me saying like, oh my God, you're further than me, but also it kind of is, because there's not many that are, and I don't think I'm at a high level or anything, but still there's not many people that are. So it's really great to have you with us, Jack. Really great contributor. Like, please do subscribe and be part of the chats more often. Yeah, and it just shows, you're brought up. This is what happens when you're brought up by conscious parents. You end up surrendering to mosquitoes and not even swatting them off you. Like, wow, you need to come and sit with Lee and maybe teach him a thing or two, if that's possible. Can you teach oneness anything more? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Is he oneness? I don't know. Have I put him on a pedestal? Maybe. Can I ask you a personal? Oh, we've done that. Yeah, personal questions are very welcome. They're much better than surface level questions. Yes, Rachel, it seems your female viewers have increased, Tom. Would you agree? Yes, absolutely. It used to be 90% male. I think Not Today Satan is more along those lines. I haven't looked for a while. So Asian Wives got in touch asking me to do a video, an advert for them. And I said, yeah, I can, but I'm not going to lie to people. I'm going to, I'll make it funny and it will work for you. But I'm going to, mention the pitfalls. For reality, I'm not just going to be like, oh, Asian women, you definitely won't get scammed. So I would have done it more from taking a piss out of women in the West, rather than particularly saying all the issues with Asian women, because obviously they're not going to want that. But I would have made it very clear that you're picking the best of a bad bunch, women, except for Heart of Hearts, of course. So I had to look at my stats. I very look at stats, but they asked for my stats on gender and location, and it's No, it's 67% UK, but I feel like it's similar with women. It's basically a third women now, which is very interesting because I've got way more sexist. Of course, that's truthful. So in some videos coming up, I talk about somebody calling me sexist in my comments, and then I start going into "cut me a pie and shut up, woman," and that's become a bit of a theme through the videos where it's just chat. Whenever I'm talking about women, I start talking about cooking me a pie, which I think is really funny. We'll see if you guys think it's funny. So it's interesting that that is happening at the same time. But I would like to think the women I'm getting know, but I'm not speaking about women. I'm speaking about feminism, and I'm actually honouring divine feminine and honouring the feminine way, and saying don't try and be a man like they told you to be. So I think I would like to think the women watching me would get that and would really appreciate it because it's true, and they do want to be, or they are divine feminines, like on that scale. So they would totally agree with what I'm saying and be relieved to hear someone saying it. That's what I get with anyway. And if you don't, then Jack, no, but I followed you since you before you immigrated. So why am I only seeing you now? Why are you not in our lives more often? You need to hit notifications, pal. You're cool as fuck. So I think this is in relevance to gayness. Thank you for opening up about that. I don't see it as trauma. I think you are born with it. If it is absent fathers, many more would be gay. Okay, so yeah, it's very you know, things are so nuanced. Like to say you're born with it, like it's so like low intellect. You know, there's no observation gone into it. There's no real thought gone into it. It's like wanting to believe. So maybe you have a gay son and you don't want to accept the trauma you had or something like that. You know, it's a story you've created. The way I spoke into it may not be totally accurate, but you know, it's nuanced and it's intellectual and it's experience based. So for you to just come in and be like, I believe this is well, it's just very NPC. All right, Jack. Yeah, thinking about it, I do feel like I have seen you before. I know you've commented on videos before, but it definitely feels like it's the first time I've seen you in a live. So we're at the bottom of the chat, guys. Oh no, I don't need to make more coffee. So can we get some more chats in? This guy's cool, I think. Are you the one that said you were banned on one of my channels? I just back in the chat, they are calling added proteins, and also obviously coffee is more expensive to source than locusts. Right, so this is the locust list on coffees and how Nestle are justifying it. They're adding proteins whilst telling you not to eat beef. I don't want locust proteins. Now there's something, I forget what it is, but there's something really bad about eating bugs. Like it's really unhealthy. Just at the time that they're telling us it's the new protein and they're putting it into all our foods under different names. Again, I forget what this is, but there's a name they're using. You know, there's a lot of your products now that have got bugs in. And there's a particular ingredient that obviously doesn't sound anything like bugs. It doesn't say bugs. I'll tell you that now. Oh, the Kema music is starting. The Buddhists are chanting. Say me. Yeah, so it's sneaking into all the foods now, and it's really bad for you. I can't quite remember what it does to you, but it's really bad for you. It's just such evil. It's such a dastardly evilness. It's just awful. It's absolutely awful. Let me ask you this. So nothing I say is an attack. If you take it as an attack, then you're too in your ego. So just know that that's true, whether you can hear it or not. Why would you ask me a personal question if you already have the answer? You think, in your opinion, you already have the answer. answer. You listened to my answer. It was nuanced, experience-based, and intellectual, and then you chose your answer, which is assumption, over it. So why did you ask the question in the first place? And I'm asking you this so you can observe your psychology, not so you can get defensive and all that. Like you probably will just get defensive. But you know, this is an opportunity for you to observe yourself. Oh, Jesse Lee Peterson, what we're saying about him? Oh, like he's just real and fantastic, and so he's coming. So his authenticity is coming up against your repression. So your repression, rather than seeing how repressed you are, is judging him as troll-like. But no, he's just a far superior human to yourself. And it's good to see that. It's good to have superior humans. Like Lee's a superior human to me, and I can learn from him. So rather than projecting onto amazing people, try observing yourself and doing the work. That's the answer. I know loads, and some are the stud lads going around different bird. Oh, I don't know what you're referring to. It might be the gay stuff. Yes, I'm a Mozzie meat man. This is Jack. I also have a pet white spider. Oh, lovely Jack. Are you young and hot? I doubt you could be, with this sort of knowledge, you must be in your 30s. Yeah, I don't really suck anyone over the age of 25. Yes, I'm a Mozzie meat man. Oh, I'm gay. I doubt you're gay. You've been brought up way too well to be gay. You're not traumatized. Yes, I'm a Mozzie meat man. I also had a pet wild spider who visits me in bed. We have an agreement. He doesn't crawl on me. I don't throw him out. I love that. Yeah, I'm very similar with spiders. There's two in my apartment right now that I'm aware of, and I'm just like, welcome, Mr. Spider. Like, I have no issue with spiders whatsoever. I'm glad to see them. Same with lizards. Lizards are easier because they've got a bit of a cuteness factor. You know, they're a bit more relatable. It's hard to relate to a spider. But yeah, I'm totally cool with spiders. And honestly, this whole it's a lie. The main thing that people throw at you is they'll crawl in your mouth when you're asleep, as if. Like, how did we all get? Was that just for film of arachnophobia? Did it happen in that? Like, for some reason, everyone believes that spiders will crawl into people's mouths. Spiders are intelligent beings. Like, they want to survive. As if they're going to crawl into some mouth. Like, that's the last place they're going to crawl. I think the argument is because it's warm. Like, they don't need to be warm, especially not in Cambodia. It's just absolute nonsense. Like, spiders have survival instincts. They're not going to crawl into your mouth. Like, it's just utter nonsense, the crap we've been told and we believe. So the worst case scenario with me allowing spiders to be in my flat is that one of them ends up biting me and I get an itch for a couple of days. But I also believe that if you don't fear them, they're not going to bite you. So there's just, even worst case scenario is like 2 days of itching on one tiny little spot of my body. And I don't even believe that's going to happen. So there's just no reason to remove spiders whatsoever. Like they work in service. Like they're here to serve you. They're here to eat the mozzies, which are also here to serve you. What do you think about my, or not my, Lee's? So this is specifically at Jack, but of course anyone can answer it. But I'm very interested in hearing Jack's opinion on mosquitoes, acupuncture, high vibration, wing noise. What do you make of that, Jack? That. I need to check if he's still a member. I'd be amazed if he is. I'm waiting to remove him and Connig from my thank you post, but so far they've lasted. But it looks like Connig has snapped today, which is good. You know, I'm here to serve, not just take money. I'm here to serve. So Connig will go into a trigger now. For, you know, it could be weeks, months, or years. But, you know, eventually it might help him break through and actually then trust himself rather than external made up bullshit. So the shitlifter only had the power. I mean, you've just got to laugh at life at the end of the day. Like, yes, it can be very harrowing. Yes, it can be very evil. It can also be very beautiful and joyful and easy.
But you know, like stuff like that moderator the other day, like you've just got to laugh. Like, yeah, you can break it down. Yeah, you can analyze it. Yeah, you can speak about it from that perspective. But actually, it's just fucking funny. Right, so he can't have barred you from any channels. If you're barred from a channel, I feel it. And you seem great, so I don't know why you'd be barred. So just let me know. Can you comment on both channels? Veruca Boy, yeah, so making progress on this. Hello, Veruca Boy and chat. So Veruca is going to take a while. Right, so cold sores have basically gone from using apple cider vinegar for 4 days. Been doing the same with Veruca, and it hurts way less. Now, Veruca is obviously going to take a lot longer. Like, I think it could be a 6-month thing, but it could definitely a 6-week thing. But it's hurting a lot less. So it's working. It is working. It is working. Rachel's had a huge shift, and she's about to do something really symbolic about, which I can't wait to share with you all. I try and buy local, and in fact, let's see if she's done it. No. Oh, I really hope you do it, Rachel. I mean, for you, man, I really hope you do it. But there's definitely been a big shift in Rachel. I tried to buy local and pay cash. Yeah, I think the cash thing is over. You know, we discussed this the other day. Like, there's not enough people doing it for that to matter anymore. But good on you. It is, still the right thing morally. Buying local, fantastic. To local businesses, as long as they're not brown ones. But I'm sure you're not doing that. Meat from butchers. I am trying my best to push back their sick agenda. Yeah, I mean, it's, what you're doing is spot on, Rachel. It's great, and if 30 to 50% of people were doing it, it would have a real effect. But sadly, they're not. So the only one I would say out of that is a lost cause is the cash. Like that's done. But I agree with the principles completely. But the rest of it is worth it, even just from a serving you point of view. Let alone, it sounds like you're still much more. Well, I know you are. You're much less about serving yourself and much more about raging against the machine, which is exactly as I was. It's not a criticism; it's inevitable steps in the journey. But try and see it more as like you're serving you. You're getting the best meat for you. It's start honoring yourself more if you can. But yeah, good on you, man. They're all really great things. Yes, I've never commented before until a live recently where somebody was casting aspersions that you were in a chat and you had missed it all. Somebody you banned that night had distracted you, so got vocal. Yeah, haters will hate. Oh, as in, like, sorry, you got vocal. Oh, like, this is good self-observation. Was casting aspersions at me in the chat, and I had missed it. So basically, he's, as he says here, he projected all over them and had a weak moment. So yeah, if you're getting triggered by a troll, even like somebody who is wrong, which I think is what he's referring to. If you're getting triggered and feeling a need to then there's something unresolved in you, as this man can spot. Jack, you're fucking wise, brother. Yes, we got a wise one. And that wisdom has only come through many years of self-observation and shadow work. Also, very good parenting. This guy had a great start. He was brought up by herbalists. And it shows. But he's carried it on, and look at his ability to self-observe, which is shown in this comment. Like someone who's less self-observant would be this comment would be something like, they were a dick, I had to tell them. Look at the difference. I projected all over him, I had a weak moment. So this is why even the spazzers, oh sorry, it slipped. Only joking with you, Rachel, I'm starting to like you. Are great teachers, not because of what they say. Well, yes, because of what they say, because of the trigger of the retardation and how you deal with it. Suspiria.
Good live. You actually flowed and interacted more with your viewers. So good. I didn't even watch Love Island catch up. Yeah, I actually feel like this has gone really well. And, you know, so this is the benefits of the green herb as well. I feel like I've been much more sort of present actually, and just flowy and trusting, as in like not trying to entertain you. I feel like this has been a really good live. I feel like it's been, Connie got triggered, but I gave him some direct reflections. But I feel like it's been less triggering as a whole. I feel like I've been calmer, more balanced. I feel like it's been held. But so obviously, I'm just comparing myself to me last time and the time before that. I mean, last time was the absolute opposite of this. It was an absolute shit show. I mean, the sound was crap, so I would have taken it down anyway. But that is the first live that I've ever unlisted. Put it that way. It was really bad. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this has gone, and it confirms to me that I can do lives while I'm partaking in the medicine of the green herb. Yeah, it's been a huge success. Thank you for all those who have taken part. I mean, I'm intending to go on for another 45 minutes after the incredibly kind donations we've had. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's gone, and I'm really happy with, and also I feel like it's reflected in the commenters. Like, there's been no trolls. I think it's the first time. There's no moderators on the chat, and it's the first time we've had no trolls. So again, it's just further evidence that the external reflects your internal. If you show up in calmness, then that will be reflected. I'm sure you did ask, Rachel. The butchers assured me it's not the halal stuff when I asked. I like you, Rachel. You remind me very much of me 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, or something like that. I'm just going to change position a little bit. I'm not sure why I'm doing this. It just feels like I need to for some reason. I can't believe I got 3 amazing cameras. I mean, okay, one of them only records one way. So the Osmo 3 is now my live camera because I have to put it in a slightly precarious position, and I don't want to do that with my brand new Osmo 4. So basically, it's on top of a smoothie machine, held, weighted down by my battery pack. So it could all just collapse at any minute. And there's no way I am doing that with my Osmo 4. So the Osmo 3 is now the live camera. The Osmo 4 is the English refugee camera, and the S25 is the Tom Green Search camera. It's great. It works very well. Oh God. X-Tech slots. The latest food scandal is the government are making it law that food companies put so many folic acid. Now, isn't folic acid the one that they grow from mold, or is that bugs? It's one of the two. In bread, I think it's the one that they grow from mold, and we all know that mold is very bad for our health. That's been, you know, confirmed and accepted medical advice and science for a long time. And now they're suddenly growing some liquid from it, I believe, and putting it in all our food. That sounds good. They're making it law that food companies put so many grams of folic acid in bread and other stuff similar. Folic acid is a synthetic version of vitamin B19, I believe. So does that mean it's related to the bugs and I'm wrong? It's not the mold one. So there's something they're calling something that sounds nothing like mold that they're putting in all our foods. And then there's also this bug situation. So it sounds like if it's a synthetic version of B19, it's going to be from the bugs. But either way, you don't want to be eating anything with folic acid in it. But unfortunately, that's everything, unless you're literally going to eat meat, veg. But then with the meat, I've seen that many cows are being injected with God knows what, spike proteins probably, and nanotech. So obviously, this is all just for entertainment purposes, and none of this is true. Nothing I say is true. So yeah, it's not great, is it? It's not great. And then you come out here where you assume that that's not really the case, but I don't know if it is or isn't.
But then they're using horrendous pesticides and all sorts of chemicals on the rice and everything else. And a lot of the stuff is important, like you're eating a ginger, like I'm putting ginger in my smoothie. It's like, oh, I'm so healthy. And then you find out that they import most of their ginger from China, which is all just poison. So, could I get some advice on the camera angle? Like, what do you think of the camera angle throughout this live? Has it been okay, or does it just look totally spastic? So that's good, right? That's me censored. But then, so obviously I'm looking at the PC, which is here, which means, so then I look at the camera. So obviously that's what you want, innit? That's what you want. But then I can't, if I read the comments, I have to do this. So maybe really I need the camera here. Once I get my proper setup and there's no limits on anything and I can put things wherever I want. Maybe I need the camera above my laptop, which would be, I can't show you. But is it like clearly amateur, the angle of my camera, or is it just like, oh no, that's normal and fine? Can you give me some feedback on that, please? Storm Dog. Tom, do you think shadow work is individual or could be held back by collective shadow? Where we go one, we go all. Oh God, I thought you were okay. Good. So this is QAnon language. Where we go one, we go all. QAnon's message, very similar to Christianity, is do nothing and wait for someone external to save you. So you know, psyop comes in here. I would think. Do you think shadow work is individual or could we be held back by the collective shadow? Yeah, I mean, both are true. Shadow work is definitely individual. Obviously, it can be done with others walking the same path, and it needs to be in certain stages. But shadow work is definitely a personal journey. Can your personal be held back by the collective shadow? Yes and no. So when I look at Lee, who is the most enlightened man I've ever met, or the man who's done the most shadow work in this context that I've ever met, he doesn't really appear to be held back by the collective shadow. However, he does still live on this realm, we could call it this earth, and therefore has to be slightly affected by the collective shadow. However, he lives in Cambodia, so he's not. So, you know, there's many layers to it. So yes, Lee is held back by the collective shadow because if everyone had done the work and was at his level, then we'd probably just be straight up to ethereal being within days. So he's held back in that regard in terms of it's all one. So Lee is me, Lee is you, Lee is the smoothie machine. So yes, he's held back by the collective consciousness. But within that holding, he's not really experiencing being held back. You know, his life is beautiful. He doesn't see bioweapons. He doesn't, and that's taking it down, like really taking it down. Yeah, I think there is a framing of a collective consciousness that we are in, but within that, you can get to a point where it doesn't really affect you. But of course, there is still that framing and that potential restriction on how far one can go. So if Lee is oneness, if Lee has connected, he is I am. Yeah, that's as far as I could go really, because I'm speaking to things that are beyond my perspective, and when you're doing that, you're just assuming and projecting, and it's all of the mind, so it's kind of pointless. But I think the answer to your question is yes and yes. So it's an individual journey, but it is going to be within the framing of the collective consciousness, and there is going to be only so. Yeah, so this is where it gets beyond my experience, and I'm kind of guessing. But I think the answer is yes and yes. QAnon comes in here, I would think. So I'm not quite sure about your reference to that. So you're saying that, and I feel like you could use any example really, like it's just collective repression and desperation and hope. So, you know, you could put Christianity in there, you could put QAnon in there, you could put diversity as our strength in there. You know, all of these collective retardations are impacting the collective consciousness. Right. Folate acid is what the natural one is called. Right, interesting. Folic acid is used for pregnant women, so why the F do they want it for everyone? So it can be used positively, folic acid? My understanding is it's just poison with a special name. But of course, I could be wrong, always trust the doctor. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, it's Jack, what a surprise. Spiders like dry places, not damp, rancid human mouths with bad breath. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I believed it. Man. Was it in a film? Like, why is the collective consciousness so convinced that spiders will crawl into your mouth? Like, it's the most uninstinctual act a spider could ever do. And yeah, like, when do you ever see a spider seeking damp? Let alone grossness. Spiders are clean animals. They're not like flies. They don't like shit. And like he says, dank. I mean, human mouths are fucking disgusting. Especially like, imagine being in a Pooji's mouth. Like, eek. Yes. I quite like your name. Lauren, none of your business. I mean, it's a bit this energy. But also, I respect that energy if that's what you need right now. So this, for me, this is somebody who's definitely on a journey. So I'm judging purely by your name. It's not. This isn't about you, Lauren. I'm just speaking in. But I think you'll probably resonate with what I'm going to say. So this is somebody who's seen the bullshit, is done with the bullshit, is not willing to have the bullshit in their lives. So they're no longer people pleasing. They are respecting themselves and putting in boundaries, but they're still of the external. So they're still really quite angry at all the bullshit, which is totally understandable and inevitable. Would that be a fair assessment, Lauren? Just judging purely by your name, or when you wrote that name, you may have moved on from this now, but when you wrote that name, Lauren, none of your business, I think that was where you were at, or are at. And, you know, there's a lot to be said for being there. It's far, 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 far further than many humans have got so far. But it does feel like there's anger in it, which doesn't serve you long term. But you know, it's all stages, and you have to feel each stage. You can't bypass any of them. Otherwise, you end up like the a Speed Pussy or Jim Dandy. He's a member, so I'm not going to speak into it, but you make me laugh. Oh, he's here. Oh God, it's not all going to kick off again, is it? Don't blame me, douche. Should have been here. Oh, he's still not taking responsibility, bless him. He said block you. No, I definitely didn't say block you. I listen in until I hear keywords, but let me, bro, for your own journey, I'm not angry with you. I have nothing but love for you. But for your own journey, you really need to take responsibility, and not about this. Like, this is just an easy way of doing it. It's very obvious. You know, if you're honestly, after that performance as a moderator, if you're honestly still blaming others and not looking at yourself, then you are going to be very stuck for a very long time, because it was very clearly a shocking performance as a moderator, and very clearly came from you being very defensive and very repressed. So you really need to take accountability for it, otherwise you're going to remain defensive and repressed. So that's for your own good. And I know it's going to be very hard for you to hear. I am now expecting you to cancel your membership and to go into a big tizzy and project onto me and project onto everyone else, because that's what you're used to doing. But if you're watching my content, presumably there is a desire in you to grow. And this is how you do it, though. And this is a very easy, obvious one. I know it's not easy for you right now because you're really in the trigger. but it's very obvious. You know, there's no like. Often these things are very nuanced, and it's like it could be this, it could be that. No, no, this is very obvious. You fucked up, and you need to take responsibility for that. And that doesn't mean apologize. I don't need your apologies. I don't need none of that. Like, it doesn't matter to me. This is all for you. You need to acknowledge through yourself. It would be very powerful for you to do it in the chat, obviously, but I don't think you're ready for that. You just need to touch upon the possibility that you mess up with yourself. And then once you've got to that stage, you need to put it into a chat, because that's, you know, that's you really feeling the vulnerability of it, like, oh, I've got to admit this, oh God. And then you'll be like, and then all you'll get is love from the chat. Everyone will be like, oh, well done, good shifters, that's great, you know, well done. No one's going to be like, ha, 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 we told you, which is what your ego thinks will happen. So then you'll get the evidence that actually being vulnerable, being honest, and being open is good. Whereas what you're doing now is complete repression, complete projection, complete lack of responsibility, which is why you show up with such a childish energy, which is why you got so defensive and so stressed over nothing. Like, being a moderator is easy, as Debbie shows so perfectly, and is a, you know, for people of your level of ego, it's actually a real honor. So yeah, like if those words are triggering you, then good. Go and breathe with them and let them in, because they're all true. I don't know if I really want to be reading out a spit per spat, but we'll do one. We'll do the response. He didn't say block me. You blocked me after I had a joke with you at the end. That's why I left that shitty message. Yeah. So basically, grid shifters, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this childish back and forth, because this is how you exist. You exist in a 3-year-old energy, which I've already explained to you. So I'm not going to play into that. I'm not going to bring up any more comments from you shitting on good people, because you can't observe yourself. It's time for you to do the work. It's time for you to take responsibility. It's time for you to grow up. Rachel, my local butcher told me he would prefer customers to pay cash. Oh, right, now that's different. So that's supporting them because of credit card fees. That's completely different. Sorry, I assumed you were doing it because you thought that in some way it would stop the digital annihilation of the cash system and the complete control and enslavement, which theoretically and morally I completely agree with, but I just accept the reality that in the UK that's over. But this is very different. Yeah, very different. So small businesses, losers through card payments, more, yeah, absolutely spot on, brilliant, well done, Rachel. Inconveniencing yourself to support others, that says a lot about your heart. Very, very much like that. Hey, Mickey, are you in Vietnam? No, I've left Vietnam. I left Vietnam about a week ago now, and oh my God, it's the best decision I ever made. I can't believe I spent 6 months there. Now, I can understand it from a spiritual perspective and why it happened, because everything I feel that unfolds and isn't really my decision. So Vietnam opened my heart massively. It brought up a lot of anger. It brought up a lot of frustration, which was, of course, covering my love. Was a block to my love. I also met the fantastic body worker at the same time. It really opened my heart. So it was all meant to be, and it means that I appreciate where I am now, which is say I meet Cambodia, even more than I would be doing, and I can really honor and respect it because I've experienced the worst of Asia, basically, which is Vietnam. And in saying that, Vietnam is amazing. It's wonderful. I love it. But it is the worst of Asia. As in, it's the most chaotic, it's the most noisy, it's the least desirable people in Asia. But they're still great. You know, Asians are great. So we're talking about the worst out of a very great, amazing group of people. But yeah, looking back now, after just 1 week in Siem Reap, I'm like, I cannot believe I did 6 months in Vietnam. Like, what was I thinking? Even though I can also see that it was all perfect and exactly what I needed, and I'm very grateful for it. But yeah, I would never, ever live in Vietnam again. Never. I mean, I was just kidding myself. And you know what ended up happening is, whilst I was intellectually aware that Vietnam is more noisy than everywhere else, it becomes, you know, it just becomes your reference point for Southeast Asia. And I got to a point where I was like, right, I'm leaving Southeast Asia. But no, I just needed to leave Vietnam. So I do a video yesterday in the center of Siem Reap, the second biggest city in Cambodia. It's about I don't know, a 2-minute clip. You don't hear one beep. There's not one car horn used in that 2-minute clip. In Vietnam, it's constant. And it feels like it's attention seeking. Like it's not even, it's stupid. It's so low intellect. Like here's the road and here's an adjoining road. They'll see a car just stop at the adjoining road. And if they're driving down here, beep, 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 to tell this car not to pull out. Like as if the car is so stupid. I'm talking about cars like Media Zoo. As if a person driving the car is so stupid that they're going to pull out unless they beep. It's just disgusting. It really is. That part is disgusting. The beeping is disgusting. And all the trucks have like crazy horns. You'll see it. Like really loud, like way too loud. Like can't do anything but jar your nervous system. I mean, maybe if you're born around it, it doesn't, but it's awful. It's a real shame, I think, for me. Like, so the karaoke is obviously shit as a Westerner, but I can see that for them it's amazing, and it's a big part of their culture. So I would say the trade-off there is karaoke wins. You know, Vietnam wins, Vietnam culture wins. Always, obviously, respect the Vietnamese in their own country, and of course, whatever they want will always win. So if that's beeping too, then fine. But when you look at the balance of beeping, I don't see the positives. Yeah, there's no positives. I don't think it makes the road safer either. I think it makes them more dangerous. So there's literally no positives. It's disgusting. It's absolutely, and it's very low IQ, and for me it says a lot about the rest, you know. So it's like the culmination of all the stuff that I complain about in my Vietnamese videos is the beeping culture. Because it makes no sense. It's very loud. It's very egoic. It's very chaotic. It's stupid. That alone is enough of a reason to not live in Vietnam. And then you've got the karaoke and the Vim Pop as well. And the now maybe I haven't been around Cambodians as much, but I just haven't noticed that. Like in Vietnam, like when they're talking, they're shouting, and it's such harsh language. It's kind of vile. Whereas I just haven't noticed that here. Like when they're talking, it's just, I don't know if it's, I just think they're not shouting. And maybe the language probably has softer tones as well. I bet it does. But I just haven't even noticed. I've not once walked past Cambodians speaking, and it is speaking. They don't shout, they actually speak. So I think that's the main part. But also, I think the tones in their language are different. I just think it's softer and more beautiful. So I feel like I found my place. Siem Reap is fantastic. I think I'm going to be here for at least a year. No, so Rachel is retarded and repressed, basically, is a very easy way of saying it. And she can't do bank transfers because she's so in fear that she's not trusted internet banking. And yes, of course, there's the spectrum, there's the paradox, of course, it's evil, of course, it's run by the them every time club, of course, I'm not for the banking system. But there's also the reality of the world we live in where you need to be able to do internet banking now. I got an email off her the other day saying, hey Tom, what's your bank details? I'm going to learn internet banking and you're going to be my first transfer. And, so obviously, yes, I want to receive money, but actually what got me really excited was the fact that she was leaning into fear. Because that's how you heal, become enlightened eventually, maybe one day. Forget being enlightened, it's just how you stop being a repressed retard. And I'm obsessed with this camera angle. I don't think anyone, maybe I've not got to those comments yet. That's no good because you can see the bloody laptop. Just leave this alone. So now she's feeling resistance. She's obviously tried and failed, not failed, tried and had a lesson that feels like failure, but really it's just a lesson. And now she wants to go back to sending cash in the post. Keep leaning in, Rachel. Keep trying. And, if it's not me, just make it anyone else. It's not, I think it would be very poetic because it's kind of through my words that you've come to this realization and this leaning in. So I do think it would be very poetic if I was your first transaction. But I'm really not saying this for that reason. I'm saying this to encourage you to keep leaning into the fear and the restriction. Because honestly, it will all shift. Like what I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. So if you're finding internet banking hard, then you're going to be living a very repressed life, because there's a lot of things that will serve you a lot harder than that. So I experienced it with my technology, like the fact that I've only just worked out how to get the mic working guaranteed on every single live stream. The fact that I used an Osmo 3 for a year without being able to hook it to my Samsung when all I needed was a wire. The fact that I've never even changed the settings on any of my cameras when I'm a professional YouTuber, because because I have the same story as you, that I can't do it, basically. But it's bollocks. Of course I can do it, and of course you can learn how to send a bank transfer. So keep leaning in. It's not about the bank transfer. It's about where that leads to. Once you get past that layer of depression, well, then what's the next one? And 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 yes, it's cooling because you're constantly looking at your layers of depression. But also, as those layers lift, it's like space is being created, higher vibrations can come in instead of shame, fear, and guilt, which everyone is in at the start of the journey. How does that sound, Rachel? So no, I will not accept any cash in post. I will not be giving you my address. It's not about the money, it's about you expanding. So learn how to send a bank transfer. Yeah, I'm not going to read it out, but yeah. Yeah, there's a really good example of this on X, isn't there? If you have a £50 note and it goes from you to the shop and the delivery guys is set, so it's still £50 going around as soon as the card transaction is set. Yeah, so there's a widely shared X post, which I'm sure a lot of you have said, that breaks it down brilliantly. It's like, I go into the butcher's and spend £50, and it gives all that example, but it's just £50, £50, £50 getting passed on. But if you use a card, like 5%, so well, it can't be 5%, but let's say 50 pence of it is taken away. Well, it doesn't take many transactions before all that £50 is now owned by the Them Every Time Club through the banking system, as this person very well knows. 12:38. Oh God, miles behind. Jack, I suffer with what the Freudian little hat people call. Interesting that you're calling him a Freudian. So yeah, I know he was of them. So you dismiss all of Freud's teachings here because of that. Called CPTSD. So that's some sort of trauma thing. I call it overexposure. I love you, man. I call it overexposure to vile human syndrome. I've had to do a lot of self-reflection. Thankfully, that's why I still enjoy it. Oh, man, you're so beautiful, man. How old are you, Jack? I feel like it feels like you've got quite a young energy to you, but your wisdom like suggests that you're like 50. But I feel like you're actually in your 30s. Ah, yeah. So you've had very good parents. So yeah, I think you could be quite young with a wisdom beyond your years compared to many. Oh God, I feel like I could end up fancying you, Jack, but you won't be gay to it. Hopefully you're ugly and then that just solves that problem. If one sees it as a problem. That's probably me just being ashamed of being gay. Yeah, I love it, Jack. Love you. You're fantastic. Same. Jack, I found I had to despise myself before I could even start to love myself. Absolutely. Got to experience the dark before you experience the light. And also, one will never do the work, the spiritual journey, until they have nothing left in the external. Like, you've got to exhaust every external possibility. Rachel was telling herself she's enlightened, like you've got to go to the bottom of the barrel before it cracks. And Rachel has cracked. And now she's working her way back up. But, we've got to go to the height of every delusion or self-hatred. Yeah, I hated myself for years, man. Years, all my life. And but it's because I wasn't in doing the work, and I had to get to the bottom of that. As in like feed it all. And I do believe that any serious spiritual journey starts with nihilism or a huge trauma. But like, so for me, yeah, I won't go into the absolute details of it, but it was heartbreak that triggered my journey. Like my heart was so broken I couldn't put it back together, which was projected onto a male human who was very beautiful. But really, it was just heartbreak of the world, you know, which I was coping with through love addiction. So therefore, I thought it was because some male human had decided that he didn't want to be my partner. But actually, it was utter despair of the world. And it wasn't until I felt the utter heartbreak that this person helped me get to by breaking my heart. But really, it wasn't him. You see what I'm saying? He really was serving me. Now, at the time, I wouldn't have thought he was serving me. I was like, oh, he's a bastard. But he was serving me. And it was only in that despair that I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a therapist because I don't know how to change this. And obviously, I went to a therapist like you would go to a doctor, like, can you give me a pill to get rid of this? That mentality. Obviously, I knew he wasn't going to give me a pill, but it was like, if I chat to his therapist, then maybe everything will be all right. You know, it was still avoidance, but it was that, but only, and he was a very good therapist, which is rare. It was through his skill and experience that I started to realize that, oh no, this isn't about covering up or plastering over like all the pharmaceuticals. This is about delving in and feeling, and I might not have had that language for it at the time, definitely didn't, but it was a realization that healing, real healing, is about getting to the root rather than sticking a plaster on top. Oh shit! Urine is great for athletes' foot problems and ITS-free. So is that going to be verrucas as well? I know verrucas are different to athlete's foot, but is it going to have an effect? I'll do it. I'll piss into a bucket and set my foot in it, no problem. So can you let me know if that applies to verrucas as well, Jack? So I think this was relevant. I think this is the guy that asked about collective consciousness over and personal journey and how it affects each other. So I think this is the next part. So the next level, so to speak, the QAnoners would suggest whatever individual work done is undone if they say a supermajority don't meet the grade and no one gets out. I don't understand. I mean, it's very of the 3D. To me, none of this is really relevant, but I know it will be relevant to you, and I know there's a point that you'll be making that I'm missing. So QAnon could suggest that every individual work done is undone if so. Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're saying. So if there's a group of people trying to save the world, which is what they claim they are, then their good work can only go so far if the collective consciousness doesn't get it, basically. Well, yeah, but it's all 3D, isn't it? So that movement is of the third dimension. That movement is of the external. It's duality. It's good and bad. It's literally white hats and black hats, like literally total, like the perfect example of duality. So you're speaking from a perspective where none of this really comes into it. You know, when I say none of this, I mean enlightenment. You know, enlightenment doesn't come into any of it because it's all of the external. What I'm speaking into in terms of the individual journey and reflective consciousness is beyond the third dimension. So it probably isn't going to serve you or resonate with you right now. It looks like you're very much in that dimension. I'm starting to wonder if you're even still hanging on to the where we go one, we go all brigade as hope, which is fine. We all need hope at times. You know, times of low consciousness, low surrender. I suppose, yeah. I mean, it's on that level, from that perspective, it's absolutely true. Because the whole thing with that movement is that they're trying to wake you up by showing you, right? So that movement believe that they've already won, and if they were, I think this is right. I haven't followed it for a long time, but when I was following it, the white hats had already won behind the scenes, and that they were basically now telling you, but they acknowledged that if they came out and said, right, this is the truth, it's going to be a bit much for people, which it would be. So now they are putting in puppets like Joe Biden, for example, so you see yourself like how bad the left is, but it's all from this dualistic, like left and right, low consciousness. So it's all just nonsense. However, really, it's the same question as before. I feel like I've already answered it, like yes and no. So, like, let's use Lee as an example again. He's having his own individual experience, but it probably is constrained by the collective consciousness. But within that constrainment, he's enlightened and free. Yes, brother, good to have you with us. Yeah, I mean, I'm very aware you're struggling in England, man. That's why I left. I didn't see any hope. I didn't see a movement forming of good. I didn't see any organization. I saw, even within those that can see the lies, I saw a lot of fragmentation. I saw, you know, people believing Tommy Robinson was the answer, people believing Farage was the answer, people believing Lowe was the answer. I saw very few people except Simon Tomlin actually taking responsibility themselves. I don't think I can say what's needed, in my opinion, but it isn't anything that's on offer, and it isn't anything political. And I don't see that happening. I've seen that in one part of Britain a little bit, reading between the lines, but I haven't seen it in my country, and I haven't seen it. I haven't seen us being anywhere near that. So I lost hope when the BBC wrote an article basically admitting to spraying the skies. Obviously, they worded it in fancy words and stuff, but you know, they basically said, "Yeah, that's happening." And for some reason, I naively thought that would change things. I thought if I could show people a BBC article, i.e., my parents, would they go, "Oh, right, yeah, you're right," and they just looked at me blankly like I was mental. And that was when I just thought, "Okay, I'm done. I'm done. There's no saving my land, sadly. It's too late. It's gone, and there isn't enough people who are willing to do what it takes to get them back." So, sadly, you're all still, or the majority are waiting for external saviours, whether that's Jesus or Rupert Lowe, or if you're really stupid, then Tommy Robinson or Nigel Farage. You know, at least Rupert Lowe looks convincing, but I guarantee he's one of them too, which I think he's already proven. Hasn't he just recently come out and said diversity is our strength or something ridiculous? But I guarantee he's one of them. Of course he is. They all are. And obviously Jesus is very much like the movement we were just discussing in America. External savior, sit and do nothing and wait. Well, that makes you a perfect slave. So I just see way too much of that. And within the right, you know, they're all now, not all, obviously that's a generalization, but many are now turning to Christianity, which, yeah, it's kind of progress from being an atheist, I guess, but not really. It's just the next psyop. And this is why they're suddenly presenting Russell Brand and all these Peterson as Christians and just and Catholicism in particular. I mean, the Pope the other day, I saw very, very briefly on X, saw a video of him shaking hands with invaders. Like, if you're still following, I mean, for me, Christianity at all, but particularly Catholicism, like, what are you doing? There was a young lad in my men's group who was amazing. He was 18. He was incredible, obsessed with Catholicism. And there's just like, you can only go so far with them. So he was very intellectual, very self-observant, has a big future. Like, he will definitely go out of this Christian cope for sure. But I'm just like, how are you following a religion of PDF files? Like, how does that even? I mean, obviously he'll say things like, yeah, well, they're corrupt, but the origins, and I'm sorry, but if your Pope is shaking the hands of invaders, like, no. Jamie, hello, Mr. Tom. Love the new place for now. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks. What you mean with my content, or is this related to you? I don't think we've chatted about anything, so I'm assuming you mean this. I feel like the next 2 weeks of content I feel like my content, English Refugee, well, both channels, is just getting better and better. As I realise I'm no longer staying in Vietnam, I get a lot more honest. So I think I think the next 2 weeks of content is really good. I think Nam Bam is really fascinating. I think it's really funny. I have a big bike crash as well. That's going to be an episode with as well, I imagine. If you've been wondering why I have, if you watch they've kind of gone there. Yeah, if you watch the doctor's video, you'll see 2 big bruises on my chest from a bike crash. And it wasn't my fault. It was so Vietnam. It was so Vietnam. Unbelievable. I'm not going to tell you because it's a really good episode and I'm hoping it's going to be a big hitter. But like, just so fucking Vietnam. It wasn't my fault, put it that way. Oh my God, it was so Vietnam. It was just unfucking believable. The most spastic thing I've ever seen, or one of them. So yeah, I think the next couple of weeks of content is really good, and then Cambodia takes a total shift. It's going to be interesting, right? So my most popular content on English Refugee was when I was in Mexico. Now I think there's a few, and when I was with Stephen. So you could very easily say people prefer it when I'm with somebody, and that's very understandable because you see a different dynamic of me, plus there's their character and all that. And people felt like Stephen was interesting and all this. Now, there's also the fact that the videos are up to date. They were live every day, basically, which makes a big difference for sure. And I'm going to be back there in 4 weeks with the English Refugee content. I'm sharing 2 videos a day now and stand back until I'm sharing from the day before. Like, no more fear. Basically, I've been in fear after the PSYOP, and I've felt safe if it's been this period of time, but I'm not in fear anymore. So was it Stephen? Was the video was live and current? Was it that it was new when I just left the UK? I think all of those factors play into it, but definitely Stephen was a big part of it. Well, now we've got Lee, who is way more interesting than Stephen. However, he's also way more triggering. He's aligned and not a people pleaser. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. He's definitely going to lose me some subs for sure. Now, the other day, we're walking through the market and someone starts begging, and I'm recording, and I go, "What do you think of beggars, Stephen?" And he goes, "Is this so English Refugee content?" And he just went. So I switch off the camera, and then he basically, says away with you, beggar, and explains why. And he's fantastic. And I was like, "Why did you tell me to switch the camera off, man? That's great." And he's like, "That's going to trigger the hell out of your English refugee people." I'm like, "Yeah, good." And then I say to him on the way home, I say, "Listen, I want to value truth over numbers." And I was like, "I don't want you to hold yourself back. Like, if you say something that really is too much for English refugee, which I don't think by my standards will be anything, but if you..." And what I mean by that is if it just goes too deep, because essentially English Refugee is an entertainment channel. However, what he said wasn't deep, it was just obvious, but very triggering to the repressed people-pleasing mind, which is, most of my viewers, most people. I don't care. Like, I'm happy to lose subscribers for people to see a very aligned, truthful man. But what is too much for English Refugee is like when the Tom Greatrex content that I create with Stephen, where he's going off into all these cosmic things, that's not for English Refugee because it's not entertainment. But I don't mind people being triggered. I don't mind him casting away beggars and explaining, why in a very blunt, what people would see as brutal way, and getting triggered by it as people pleasers.
No, I don't mind that at all. So it's going to be very interesting when Lee becomes a regular part of the content, which is when obviously when I get to Cambodia. So you're probably 4 weeks away from seeing that, I think, if I share 2 videos a day, and it being current. Yeah, like I think overall it's going to be good for numbers. Not that that really matters. What matters is that the content is aligned and entertaining. But of course, there is a level to that. You know, if I introduce someone to a channel and literally everyone stops watching, then I would probably be like, okay, we can't do content about that guy, because this is how I earn a living. At the end of the day, English refugee is how I earn a living, or it's the bulk of my living. And then there's a few add-ons like, I mean, Tom Greater, since I started live streaming, what's really interesting is of my donations, so I'm on both channels, but my donations come 90% from Tom Greatrix and 10% from English Refugee. So I think that says a lot about the two audiences. So Tom Greatrix has actually earned this month, the last 28 days, it's earned about $800, which is, you know, before that, it was like 130, I think was the record. So that's obviously that's for live streaming. So English Refugee is my base, but you know, Tom Greatrix is actually becoming another base. And then there's the coaching and donations on top of that, which are kind of like add-ons. You know, much smaller percentages, like 10%, but make a huge difference. And I'm not including donations in live streams on that. I'm including that in my base YouTube earnings of 800 and I think English Refugee in the last 28 days is 1,200, and Tom Greatrix is 800 in the last 28 days. But the bulk of that has come in the last 14 days from live streaming. All right, so we're at the 3-hour mark. I am kind of tired. I am going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to everyone who's taken part in today's live stream. Was that something from Heart of Hearts? Yeah, let's read out Heart of Hearts. Tom, could you roast the email I sent you because I need to be humbled by you? You've emailed me. Is it recent? Yeah, I'm more than happy to roast you. A big thanks to they're anonymous. £25 on Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate your work. Thanks for your honesty and the reminders. £25. Thank you to my anonymous donator. I don't think I've had an email from you. Can you send it again? No, I've either missed it or not realized it was you. Can you send it again? I have no memory or recollection of an email from the wonderful Heart of Hearts. I'm really glad I saw that before I wrapped up. Happy to roast you. Very happy to connect with you. Happy to lick you. Whatever you want, Heart of Hearts. Third one was a joke, obviously. Unless you're really hot about a 41. That's just not going to be the case. I'm sure you're very hot for 41-year-old. But yeah, I don't fuck with wrinkles, man. Okay, massive thank you to Suspiria for the first donation of the night, which is always a big one, always helps me shift from what the hell am I doing? Why do I think I have any credibility? Why would anyone listen to me? This is a massive mistake. I wish I hung on live to like, maybe it's worthwhile being here. And then Spiritual Warrior came in with the like, okay, we can let go of all that nonsense story and we can be balanced. Conroy had his impact on that. And then the wonderful Irish Heart of Hearts came in and moved me further up the confidence scale, bordering on arrogance. And then we just kind of stayed there, and these guys kind of replenished that. Suspiria came in again with more confidence, love, and support. And then I would say the star of the night, Jackknife TV. This is the kind of guy that I would want to be friends with.
has just contributed amazingly with his comments and has also helped me out financially. So a massive love, a massive appreciation, and I will probably see you. It's gone so well. I'm really happy because I came onto this live stream like, can I do this while I'm smoking, or while smoking is in my life? And it seems that maybe it's even better with smoking because I'm less reactionary, potentially, maybe. Give me your thoughts on that in the next live stream, which will probably be tomorrow night, depending on whether I wake up or not, and how stoned I got and all that sort of thing. All right, big love. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. That has been very good for me. And I don't think my ego, I mean, maybe my ego a bit, but I think more for my alignment and where I want to go. It's been very good for me. All right, big love. Thanks.